It's been burning up here in Maryland recently, and boy, Ben, the Cropdusters sure did get sweltered yesterday. 14-2 loss on the road against Alexandria tonight. The Cropdusters have a chance for revenge against the team that bested them in extra baseball, a 12-inning loss earlier this season to the DC Grays. The Cropdusters get a chance to avenge that loss tonight. Alongside Ben Gurwitch, I'm Nick King, and Ben, we're finally back here at First Responders Field after a long road trip. Cropdusters have been hot and cold on the road, a couple of losses in their last two. What did they need to do tonight to get it done?
A lot of it is going to come down to fielding. You know, we saw the loss 2 days ago, a game that they certainly could have taken down the big train, but 5 errors. You know, it really just felt like the errors leading to 2-out hits were just so brutal and just backbreakers. And, you know, makes a pitcher work more, especially in a hot day like today, you want to do everything you can to let your pitcher get back in the dugout, get in the shade, and get hydrated. So do everything you can to limit the extra pitches, the extra effort exerted by the pitcher and the whole team.
It's unforgiving heat-wise, but you hinted at it. This team has hurt itself, and even in its last win against the Gaithersburg Giants, Olney had to claw back on the road against the worst team in the league, narrowly edged out Gaithersburg with a go-ahead home run in the 9th to win 8-7. Cropdusters still a game below 500. They sit 7-8 on the season. DC has been hot and cold as well. They sit 7-5. But they've won 3 in a row. They're on the up, Olney on the down. It's kind of another battle of streaky teams. Each has had their lulls and each has had their streaks. Cropdusters with a long stretch of home games trying to get back on the right spot.
One thing I will say about the Cropdusters is that the power, you know, taking away yesterday, they have the home run ball has been a little bit more in their game. Walker Zampella and Carter Ritchie both hit solo shots against the Giants. Before that, Jimmy Kirk with a blast. So the home run ball is something that has been a bit more of a weapon for them. Of course, they'd like to have that happen again today.
We're going to pause temporarily for the national anthem. Just moments underway here from First Responders Field. First pitch coming up shortly for the Cropdusters on the bump. It's Gavin Metrick, who has been really good for this team especially considering his age, a rising freshman heading into Towson. Metric has appeared in 2 games, started 1, has a 5.06 ERA and 5 1/3 innings pitched. He's allowed 7 hits and 3 earned runs, struck out 6. But one of those performances, he was lights out for the first 2.5 innings, and then they pulled him. A couple runs were let up in relief, and those tallied against those came on his stat line. All things considered, though, Metric has been a pretty stellar right-hander for the Cropdusters team through 2 outings.
Big, respect and trust shown in the young man getting the start in not necessarily a must-win game, but certainly a stop, like a kind of that stop-gap type of game where a situation that they've been struggling, they've been away a lot, they're back to their worst record of the season, 1 game below 500. You do not want to drop 2. You want to get back to 500, and yet they're still trusting this not soon-to-be freshman with the ball today.
It doesn't necessarily feel like a must-win, but it almost has that gravity. This team has gone through lulls, and even in the wins that they've had of late, they haven't played their best. This team in dire need of domination against a Grays team that has won 3 straight, is red hot, and is looking to continue to move up the standings while the Cropdusters are attempting to avoid a continuous plunge down the leaderboard.
And like we talked about, seeing these teams play before, in that game, a lot of running, a lot of motion on the base paths from the Grays. Expect that again today, and Rivera, one of those guys that you'd expect that.
It'll be Noel Rivera who leads things off to start off the top of the first. Rivera batting .255 on the season. Metric steps off. Early communication issues between him and Cook. He's back on the rubber. First pitch upstairs, pops out of the glove of Cook. Rivera takes it's 1-0.
Maybe a little bit too amped, or trying to really send a message with the first pitch of the game and just kind of overthrew it.
Rivera lines that one into left. On the run is Knight. He's not going to get there. Lead-off base knock for the Grays. It comes from Noel Rivera. His 11th hit of the season. Lead-off man aboard.
Good piece of hitting from Rivera. After the first pitch, fastball well out of the zone. Metric tries to calm himself down and throw an off-speed pitch, but Rivera was not at all fooled by it and smacked it to left field.
Ethan Nagy steps in. First pitch swinging foul back. He's down 0-1. Metric's fastball tops around 86 to 87. He's also got a changeup, curveball, slider, all in the mid-70s. That fastball inside. Count even, a ball and a strike. Metric checks on Rivera at first. Now heads home. Swing, line drive, right field. It's going to fall. No play as Rivera holds at second base. 2 straight base knocks for the Grays. DC's offense clicking early.
Really nice piece of hitting from Mark Quarry there. Fastball high and away, and he drilled it the other way.
Nagy stands in, off goes Rivera, throw down to third, skips in the dirt, not in time. Santiago Cruz scoops. And Quarry held at first rather, no double steal. Rivera likely saw something in Metric's timing.
We talked about how jumpy Rivera is. He likes to get going and quickly on third, and not the start that Metric of the Cropdusters hoped for.
Runners on the corners, nobody out. 2-0 count to Nagy. Off speed finds the middle of the zone. That's strike one.
Interested to see if we'll see Quarry try to take second with Rivera on third, someone we know who likes to get moving, but he stays put for now.
Has 3 stolen bases on the season. Swing and a miss. Fastball low. Nagy over top of it. Count squared, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Has been the most impressive year for Nagy so far. Hitting .259, but not really any power out of the 3-hole. 7 hits, all singles.
Off goes Quarry, throw down to second. Skips on the mound. Rivera takes home. An awkward play by the Cropdusters. And DC strikes first. It's 1-0 Grays. Still nobody out here in the top of the first inning.
Cook made an interesting throw in warm-ups where he actually almost hit Gavin Metric on a throw that was pretty low. His throw to third was also a bit low, and so there, I think a situation where you probably should know to just keep it in your pocket, not make the throw, and then let's the easy run scoring.
You're in a tough spot there if you're Cook. You're obviously looking to help out the pitcher and get an out. But with that said, it almost seemed like he had a play set up and he just grounded it right on the rubber. And Quarry had a great jump. He was never going to catch him. Got to know your base runners, I'm sure is what Adam Leader is saying. Big lead by Quarry at second. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Nagy goes down on strikes. There's one down here in the top of the first.
The high off speed pays dividends there. Big first out.
Needed it with a runner in scoring position. Now brings up the cleanup man. It's Andy Rivera. First pitch inside, it hits him. Right on the hand. And Andy Rivera will trot down to first base.
Metric's fastball location has not been ideal so far. You know, missed way up and then they're well inside. He's got to bear down with 2 runners on.
Luke Cauchy stands in. Batting .278 on the season. First pitch pops out of the glove of Cook. Called ball. It's 1-0.
Cauchy, another guy, you know, hitting .278, which is not terrible, but only 1 extra base hits. I mean, 1 extra base hit. This is a team that's going to beat you, you know, by taking extra bases, as we see them steal right here.
It's popped up, out of play. No chance to double up the runners. But you're right, Ben, this team is aggressive on the base pass. Everybody in the lineup can run. We've seen some issues with the Cropdusters. Some guys, you know, Jimmy Kirk, not a guy that's really going to swipe a bag. He has stolen a base this season, but this Grays lineup from top to bottom can absolutely fly.
But only a slugging percentage of .308 for the team, so they're not going to necessarily hit the ball over your head. They're just going to, you know, put the ball in play and make it hard for you.
Just like that, Knight comes in, it gets past him. 1 run scores, ball trickles to the wall. Scott cuts it off. In comes Rivera. Throw at the plate, not in time. It gets over the head of Cook. Cauchy advances to third. An absolute disaster in the first inning. And it's 3-0 DC. And you hinted at it, Ben. They're not going to hit it over your head. That time, Jaden Knight comes in, tries the aggressive play, diving at the ball. It scoops right past him, rolls to the wall, and a 1-out triple makes it 3-0.
Metric, of course, not necessarily at all overpowering this Grays lineup, and he is getting hit, but in all fairness to him, he's not being helped out by his fielders. I mean, it's not a great feeling when you throw a pitch and then a run just comes in on like they did on the double steal. And there, I mean, that's a line drive, but you should be looking at, you know, bases loaded, maybe a run scores, but instead 2 runs and a runner at third. So Metric certainly not getting helped out despite not, pitching his best.
First pitch swinging, it's skied into shallow center field. It's Henson tagging at the plate. He'll go back. Couchy duked me, almost duked Henson. 2 gone. Still a runner on third. Brings up Aiden Ellis.
And a little thing there, but I think that, Walter was there and so was Scott in the outfield. And with a runner on third, I think you always want the player who has the momentum coming in to catch that ball. If Couchy does try to take home on that, the player, coming in on it, as opposed to Henson, who could be on his back foot, having to reel back. He'd like the outfielder to call off the second baseman in that situation.
First pitch swinging strike. It's 0-1 to Ellis. Fastball misses just outside. Count square, a ball and a strike. Ellis has only appeared in 1 game for the Grays, has not recorded a hit. Would be a key spot for his first one. Could extend the DC lead to 4. Off speed misses high and away. 2 balls and a strike. Chopper up the middle. Hawkins takes it on the hop. Throw to first in time. And the inning's over. 3 DC hits yields 3 runs in the top of the first. Olney already down a trio of scores as we head to the bottom half of the leadoff inning.
Good job by Metric there. With a runner on third, less than 2 out, able to strand him, but a lot of hard contact in that inning. He's going to have to find a way to get his fastball a little bit more, in the corners. We talked about it before. It's going to be an adjustment period for the young men who their velocity would, more than just play at the high school level, just dominate. But now, that the good velocity does not necessarily phase these talented hitters. So going to have to find a way to just continue to get better at locating the velocity.
That's especially accurate considering this DC team is very good at contact hitting. They don't strike out a whole lot. Obviously, we saw Ethan Nagy go down on strikes in the top of the first, but they're aggressive, a lot of first pitch swinging, a lot of nice contact line drives. Nothing that will kill you. You won't often get burnt by this team.
But if
they have the ability to really rake it. Only 1 home run all season for the Grays, but as a team, they're batting .262.
And, if stuff happens like the Jaden Knight play or the overthrow to Cook, that's exactly what the Grays are hoping for, and they kind of put pressure on you to do. They take extra bases, and it's going to be really important for the rest of this game is that the Cropdusters do not give any gifts to a Grays team that knows how to take advantage of them.
For the Grays on the bump opposite Gavin Metric, it's Brady Myers. He's appeared in 3 games this season, has a 3.85 ERA. This is his 3rd start of the year. In his 3 games played, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, and 3 earned runs. He's walked 9, only struck out 7, so location has been a problem for Myers. Obviously, the Cropdusters feast on free bases. That's what they've done all season. It's Cade Walter leading things off for Olney. First pitch fastball swinging, fouled back. Walter down 0-1. Myers has a fastball that tops in the upper 80s, a changeup in the high 70s, curveball mid 70s, and a slider that maxes at 74. 0-1 pitch to Walter. Off speed called, strike 2. And Cade Walter quickly down, no balls and 2 strikes.
Myers are one of these guys that we've seen a lot. Really tall, pretty thin. It's going to come at you with a lot of arm, a lot of legs. And it's, it comes at you quick. With that long arms, you can extend the ball even a little further out. The 87 may look a little bit more like 91 with the, that big arm, big legs.
Walter goes around, and he's down on strikes. Off speed in the dirt. And the leadoff man chases. There's one down here in the bottom of the first. Zakai Hawkins stands in. Batting .207 on the season. First pitch breaking ball. Upstairs. Hawkins takes it's a ball and no strikes.
The 207, though, does not necessarily tell the full story with Hawkins. He's someone who can find a way on base in different ways. Hawkins, a .439 on base percentage, so he has been reaching base at a very solid level. You know, against the big train, he actually got on every time, 5 times on base.
He's really heated up after a slow start, and when he gets on base, Ben, he's swiped 10 bags. Only in need of some offense after a rough top of the first. Hawkins has watched 3 straight. It's 3-1.
Yeah, more of what this is what we expect from Hawkins, someone who just finds a way to battle, put pressure on the pitcher.
Ground ball up the middle, and Zakai Hawkins has a base hit. Heavy round of first. He'll stay there. Cropdusters have their first knock of the evening, and it comes from Zakai Hawkins.
Hawkins has found a home in this top of the order. He's sort of a mainstay now in there whenever he is playing. And, yeah, like you said, expect him to be moving, leading the team in steals with 10. And a lot of that is his ability to read pitchers. You know, he often fakes he's going to go, seeing how the catcher reacts, seeing how the first baseman reacts, and he will take a base.
First pitch to Jimmy Kirk. Called strike one, breaking ball on the outer part of the plate. Kirk came to Olney a little bit late this season, has appeared in 5 games, is hitting .333 in those contests.
His biggest swing, of course, came with a home run that turned an 8-3 ball game to an 8-7 one against the Gaithersburg Giants, a big part of the comeback.
Has a chance to cut this deficit to a 1-run lead as well, with Hawkins standing on first. Kirk led the Cropdusters in home runs last year. He's down 0-2. Myers checks on Hawkins at first. We'll try the pickoff. It's not there. Hawkins back standing up. Still 0-2. Off goes Hawkins. Myers throws it into center field. Hawkins is going to take third base. They had him dead to rights. Hawkins ill-timed. Myers stepped off, tried to throw it to second instead. Threw it to Mark Quarry in center field. And Zakai Hawkins advances to third.
Like I talked about, Hawkins always trying to time the pitcher up. He likes to take that extra step and go early if he can. That time it almost cost him, but next thing you know, he's standing on third base.
0-2 pitch to Kirk is outside. Count now 1-2.
So the at-bat changes now. You know, of course, Kirk was down 0-2, but with a runner on third, it goes back to that situation of just got to get the runner in despite being in an 0-2 hole. Infield back.
Ground ball scooped up by Myers. Hawkins retreats back to third. Jimmy Kirk is retired. Nice play by Brady Myers, holding the runner and getting the out.
For just a split second, it appeared that the ball was going to get past Myers and it was going to at least yield a run. Threw his glove down and made a nice play.
Tyler Cook stands in for the Cropdusters. First pitch fastball called strike one. 89 on that pitch from Myers.
And for Cook, he's remained in that 4-hole despite really struggling on the year.
Another heater, that one outside. Count even, a ball and a strike. You've hinted at it, Ben. Cook only batting .053 on the season. 1 hit and 19 at-bats. In his defense, he is a contact guy. Has only struck out 3 times. Just has not gotten too many to fall. He's got a hitter's count here, 2 balls and a strike. Myers deals outside. And Tyler Cook has a 3-1 count. Zakai Hawkins still stands on third base. There's 2 gone here in the bottom of the first. Chopper, first base side, scooped up. Grace, he'll waltz over to the bag, and the inning is over. Cropdusters come up empty-handed. DC back on the attack with a 3-run cushion.
Yeah, Myers throws a nice pitch on the outside part of the plate. And we've talked about in the past the 3-1 swing. That time, not an excellent 3-1 swing from Cook. Relatively late, defensive, and, yields an easy ground out.
That one was out of the strike zone as well, Ben. Low and away, 89-mile-an-hour fastball right off the end of the bat of Tyler Cook. That's been an issue at times this season for the Cropdusters, is knowing when to be disciplined. They've scored a lot of runs off walks, off hit by pitches, off errors by opposing teams. But it's also been an issue when they're up in counts, being overly aggressive, and then potentially fishing themselves out of some extra runs.
One of the things that you'd kind of hope just continues to improve, but just has the choosing when to the swing decision as just something that's continued to be an Achilles heel for this Cropdusters team. And we talk about situational hitting, and it's a good example of situational hitting as taking your opportunities both in terms of the pitch and in terms of the at bat. When there's a runner on third base with less than 2 outs and you get a pitch 0-0 down the middle, that's when you want to, oftentimes it's going to be the best pitch you get in the at bat. But, other times when it's another hitter situation, but it's 3-1, you get a pitch that's not necessarily, right in your wheelhouse. It's okay to take it and live to see the next pitch.
Dixon Monk will get things started in the top of the second. Monk batting .286 in 5 games played. Metric back on the bump. First pitch called, strike 1. Fastball marinating that outside corner. Metric moving fast. Swing and a miss. 87 blows right by Dixon Monk, who's quickly down 0-2. Metric not wasting any time. Off speed in there. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and Dixon Monk is down looking.
First baseman number 16 from Lafayette College, Ryan Grace.
It's exactly what the doctor ordered. A quick out. In stands Ryan Grace. Metric quickly back to work. First pitch called, strike 1. Off speed on the upstairs part of the zone. Metric really in a flow. Off speed there again. No balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch. Skied center field. Scott drifts to his right, makes the play. Man, imagine if he got the strikeout there, Ben. We would have been 3 strikes away from an immaculate inning.
Certainly would have been on an immaculate inning watch, but you got to like what you're seeing in just in these 6 pitches to the second inning. Despite kind of getting hit around in that first inning, he's staying confident, trusting his stuff, and mixing it up, going off speed a lot in the count, but locating both that pitch and the fastball.
Top of the order stands in. First pitch strike to Noel Rivera. Singled his first time up. Came around to score just an inning ago. 0-1 off speed upstairs. Count level, a ball and a strike. Metric exhales. Now goes into his windup. Chopper. In comes Hawkins. One-handed scoop. Throw on the run. In time. 3 up, 3 down goes DC. Gavin Metric retires the side. Lead stays at 3 rather for DC as we head to the bottom of the second.
Much needed second inning for Metric. Lets him settle down, and he'll get some high fives and some attaboys from his teammates who he lets them get right back into the dugout after the less time you can be in the sun right now, the better. So.
Obviously, this team needs runs, but I think they might be more thankful they no longer have to stand in the sweltering heat. I'm not sure how much warmer the dugout is. There's a little bit of shade, but we're the spoiled ones with the air conditioning.
That we are. It's good to be home for a couple of reasons, but I think number one is, if we're on the road, we're just picking any spot. Sun, shade be damned. We want to give you guys the best view. Given, we know it's not great anyway, so we do what we can. So. That heat will get you, but no, it's nice that it's supposed to be quite the hot week today, maybe the worst day, and we have the luxury of this excellent AC.
If we were outside, I might have to wear my swimsuit.
Does that mean? Do you mean your as in no shirt swimsuit or?
I was thinking my Speedo. Yeah.
All right, that seems pretty.
I need the tan. I'm looking awfully pale, especially for this time of year.
Gotta get
It's a shame we don't have a face cam.
Yeah, as close zoomed up as possible, especially during any bad calls.
You definitely don't know how to hide your discontent with the umpires at times.
With my voice, I don't do a great job. With my face, no hiding it at all. So wouldn't really even matter what I'm saying. My face would give it all away.
Will Henson stands in, leading things off here in the bottom of the second. Myers back on the bump. First pitch off speed inside. It's 1-0. Henson batting 143 on the season. He's got 4 knocks and 28 at-bats.
He does lead the team with 9 walks.
Skies that one to right. Rivera on the run near the wall. It's out of play. That's that veteran mentality from Henson, obviously one of the older gentlemen on the team, going into his 5th year at the collegiate level, currently in the transfer portal. That hawk eye is one of those things that really develops over time. The more pitches you see, the more you adapt.
The more comfortable you are in different situations.
Henson skies it once again, this time shallow right. In comes Rivera. He'll make the play. And there's one down here in the bottom of the second.
Batting next, the left fielder, number 26 from the University of Notre Dame, Jaden Knight.
Jaden Knight stands in. He's been hot recently after a slow start where he started 0 for 12. He's got 3 hits in his last 8 at-bats. First pitch from Myers, off speed, outside, called strike 1. Nice job painting the plate there by Brady Myers.
Knight, this is his 3rd start in 4 games, so he is certainly getting a decent amount of playing time.
Fastball fouled straight back. Myers just wrapped up his freshman season at Lock Haven, where he tallied a 4.66 ERA in 11 outings. That number considerably down here in the Cal Ripken League this summer. 0-2 pitch tonight, foul to the right side. He'll live to see another. Neither pitcher dwelling on the bump.
Quite the shift on Knight. Left center fielder playing well in right center.
Breaking ball upstairs. Unusual you see that sort of shift on a right-handed batter. Knight has been late on every pitch. Mark Quarry likely just adjusting on Knight's timing. 1-2 low. Knight takes, count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
and Rivera playing all the way on the line and right.
Breaking ball, it doesn't matter. Called strike 3. Jaden Knight down looking. Second strikeout of the evening for Brady Myers.
University, Austin Stalker.
Knight has now been retired 5 times via strikeout. Austin Stalker stands in with 2 away.
It was notable. Stalker, especially against in that Big Train game, looking to take everything the other way. Hit a couple fly balls to the opposite field, one for a double, one for a flyout.
And now we're seeing Quarry shift opposite field again. Left center gap wide open. DC expecting these Olney batters to be late on Myers' stuff. Stalker is down, or has an even count rather, a ball and a strike. Batting 154 on the season. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss. Stalker ahead of the off speed. Nice changeup from Brady Myers, makes it 1-2. Myers quickly back into the windup. Chopper, Couchy comes in, scoops, toss, in and over. The side is retired. Brady Myers, 2 clean innings. Olney goes 3 up, 3 down, as do the Grays in the second. Still a 3-0 ball game as we head to the third.
And you saw that swing by Austin Stalker. He's done that, kind of throughout the year on off-speed pitches, just lunging way ahead. So you could think that the decision to go the opposite field, or at least to try to, is partially to just have him hold back on the changeup and the off-speed pitches, just so he is not flying ahead on it.
DC back on the attack. Metric back out for what is likely to be his final inning of work. Had a strong second inning where he retired to the side. Now faces the middle of the order, 2, 3, 4, due up for DC.
Part of the lineup that got Metric in the first inning, but it was a different pitcher that second time around. That second inning, he was really just able to locate, and that was the difference. I mean, the fastball location was, dotted low and away, and he was able to keep hitters off balance with the off-speed pitch. He's got to keep that confidence against guys that had some success against him.
Mark Quarry standing in for DC, singled his first time up. He's batting .250 on the season after that hit in the first inning. First pitch upstairs, off speed, slips out of the hand of Metric. Not a great release from the righty. It's 1-0. Metric fires back with a fastball. Swing and a miss by Quarry. It's 1-1.
That off-speed pitch has been pretty successful for Metric, especially these last 2 innings, something that he can really rely on.
Grounds that heater in the dirt. It's 2-1 now to Quarry. Metric not wasting any time. Off-speed ground ball through the hole, base hit. Right in no man's land between third and short. And Mark Quarry has a pair of knocks off of Gavin Metric.
That time not able to locate the off-speed pitch, trying to, with that slider, you're always really trying to get it low and away. That time ended up sort of in the wheelhouse. Quarry did a nice job sitting back and just smoking it to the pull side.
Ethan Nagy stands in, struck out his first time up. Off speed was low on that first pitch. It's 1-0. Fastball skied to the right side, out of play. Count even, a ball and a strike.
Last name shares a likeness to one of a maybe infamously known coach in football, but his maybe most known for one moment as a coach.
Off goes Quarry, throw down to second. There is none.
Yeah, there's got to be more communication there, whether it's Stalker or Cook, because you can see Quarry on the last pitch. He's creeping there as well. He's clearly getting ready to go. Someone has to at least keep the runner in the corner of their eye and say, step off or something, because Quarry was able to get way too much of a lead there.
Metric losing control. That's two straight grounded in the lefty batter's box. Nagy has a 3-1 count. Obviously referring to Matt Nagy early on. Now
Yeah.
Chiefs offensive coordinator.
Yeah, some say he's heard of Mahomes. Who knows? To each their own.
3 balls and a strike. Nowhere close. Breaking ball inside. And just like the first 2 men on for the Grays to start the top of the third.
Back-to-back coach's last names. Ron Rivera now. Someone that you, of course, are quite familiar with.
River Bowl Ron. Sam Howell killed his career.
Not the other way around.
They were mutually bad as Rivera skies it in the infield. Hawkins takes the pop-up. And Andy Rivera quickly down. First pitch swinging, sky out. There's one away.
Second baseman number 6 from Lafayette College, Luke Cauchy.
Be interested to see how Metric attacks Cauchy. I'd expect with a decent amount of breakers, he's the one who got him for the 2-run double that Knight was not able to come up with cleanly. But the ball was hit hard.
Off goes Quarry. Line drive past Santiago Cruz down the line. Quarry will score with ease. Rounding third is Nagy. Knight misplays it at the wall. It's 5-0 DC. Luke Cauchy with 4 RBIs in 3 innings. The Grays piling it on here in Olney.
A little bit surprising that the first pitch, Metric goes back to the fastball. Cauchy all over it. And once again there, if you saw, Quarry was going on second base. He left early. He was, starting his lead. He was doing some shuffles. And neither the second baseman or shortstop, gave Metric a warning. Because if he steps off, before he went home, he had time to step off, and he would have had, Quarry in no man's land.
Luke Cauchy entered tonight with just 2 RBIs and no extra base hits. Tonight he has 2 doubles and 4 RBIs, and he's got his team up 5-0. Knight tried to pick up the ball at the wall with his glove. Might have had a better chance at a play at the plate with Nagy going from first to home. Instead, he bobbled it. Easy 2 runs. It's Carter Jenkins up. Chops that one foul. It's 1-2 to the third baseman. Flew out to shallow right his first time up. Metric has had a tough time finding success from the stretch. He checks on Cauchy. Heads home, off speed, and it hits Jenkins. He lets him go. 1-2 count, no more. Second hit by pitch of the game for Gavin Metric. 2 men on with 1 out. DC still breathing down Olney's neck, and Gavin Metric will get a mound visit.
It's a good call by you, bringing up the stretch and the windup, because his stuff is just not playing as well from the stretch, and especially his off speed. He's kind of leaving his front shoulder open, as you saw there. He's not able to get to the outside part of the plate as he left it way inside to Jenkins hitting him. He's just not necessarily finishing that pitch or getting the same arm slot and delivery that he's hoping for. And yeah, I got to go back to that Cauchy pitch. I'm quite surprised that he threw a first pitch fastball, but especially the location. Just kind of grooved it in there on 0-0 with a guy who already had a double off him and that location has just not necessarily been there with runners on base.
Mike Evans will head back, assistant coach for the Cropdusters. Runners on first and second with one out. DC up 5-0. Grays scorching hot on offense. Aiden Ellis with a chance to tally some more. Metric will work from that stretch. First pitch grounded in the dirt. Tough time locating. And you just see the difference between the way he stands and the way he presents himself before a pitch. Difference between the windup and the stretch. He has that glove high on the windup, glove low from the stretch. And he almost comes from the side when he's working from the windup. It's not as easy to get that momentum without loading all your stuff back.
And for Metric, I mean, his ERA was well below 1 in his season under Coach Leader. So, I mean, it's just different for a guy like him who's given up base runners and seeing runs. It's something that he's going to have to... Of course, you know, he didn't go his whole life with never giving up runs, but it's still just an adjustment for someone like him who has to kind of get used to facing adversity in a way he hadn't really had to do.
0.247 ERA this year at Reservoir High School, was the Howard County Player of the Year.
And he never had a game that he gave up five runs like this, or had, you know, three runs in the first inning. So it's understandably something that he's gonna have to take time to understand.
2-2 to Ellis, called strike 3. Fastball coating the outer part of the plate. Key out for Gavin Metric. Dixon Monk will now take the righty batter's box. Monk, also a rising freshman. Attended Riverdale Baptist. Chops that one. Left side, Santiago Cruz on the hop. Throw to first in time. DC tallies 2 more, extends their lead to 5. Cropdusters with a goose egg in the scoreboard, trying to change that as we head to the bottom of the third.
Something that can give, you know, some confidence to the whoever ends up being the pitcher for the rest of this game, or, you know, the pitchers for the Dusters. The bottom of the order really has not shown much. When, you know, Metric, who has been got pretty hard hit from the top of the order, the bottom of the order really has made him look pretty dominant. So something to watch for.
The Cropdusters have allowed at least 8 runs in 3 straight contests. DC well on pace to reach that mark. It almost seemed like the pitching had been what this Cropdusters crew could rely on through the first third, fourth of the season. Now they really have nothing sure going into each and every game with the pitching performing like this.
It has sort of changed into situations maybe forcing the lineup to have big games, and we've seen them do it, like in that Giants game where they were down 6-0 and 8-2, and the lineup, you know, worked great at bats, and it wasn't errors, it wasn't walks, it was really good pieces of hitting that brought them back into that game. So the lineup has certainly woken up a little bit, but they're going to have to make a big comeback once again today.
Adam Leader is celebrating his 25th wedding anniversary. Congratulations. Happy anniversary.
You couldn't hear Cropdusters head coach Adam Leader celebrating his wedding anniversary. His team really hasn't gifted him much through 3 innings. As the Cropdusters trail 5-0. Anel Santiago Cruz leads things off in the bottom of the third. First pitch fastball called strike 1. Santiago Cruz, one of those guys for Olney that has struggled at the plate, batting 160 on the season, has not walked at all. So his 4 hits are the only means he's reached base so far in 2025.
Cruz is a pretty free swinger up there as well. You know, he'll chase, but he'll also really, you see, if he gets a strike, he's gonna be swinging.
0-2 pitch. Got a strike, found it back. Fastball 88 in the upper part of the zone. Still 0-2 to Olney's third baseman. Brian Scott, the 9-hitter, waits in the on-deck circle. Myers kicks and delivers. Lost control of that off-speed pitch. Sails well upstairs.
And still that big shift on from the center fielder now, again, going to the opposite way. Used to seeing the center fielder maybe kind of make an adjustment, take a couple steps to the left or right, but what Corey's doing is much more than that. It is a good 10, 15 steps from the normal position, if not more.
DC daring Santiago Cruz to pull the ball.
Or just hit it up the middle, even. Like,
big gap from Rivera at short. And you look at the hole right up the middle, just on a ground ball. Noel Rivera playing much closer to third base than he is second. It's 2-2 to Santiago Cruz. He fouls it off to the right side. Good at bat from number 37.
Yeah, just doing what you want to do, fighting off the pitches you don't want to get. Just keep wasting until you get one you want.
2-2. Make it 3-2. Count full. Santiago Cruz has battled back from being down 0-2. Eighth pitch of the at-bat loading up.
And this is really important, especially if he finds a way on. I mean, an at-bat like this, it wakes up the bench, it gets everyone involved. You know, they're going to be watching every pitch a little bit more.
Swing and a miss. Chance no more. Cruz down on strikes. Third K of the night for Myers. And in stands Brian Scott, trying to get things going for the Cropdusters. He's done it before this season, and he's had relative success at the plate, batting .250 in 24 at-bats. First pitch outside. Scott thought about swinging. He's one of those guys that is really aggressive on the first pitch. Held back there and has a 1-0 count.
It does feel like for Scott, the high fastball with some decent velocity has kind of got the better of him the last couple games.
Low fastball dribbled, shortstop, Rivera, scoop, throw, off the bag! Ryan Grace could not keep his right foot on the base. And Brian Scott reaches on an error, only taking whatever it can get right now. Top of the order for the Cropdusters, it's Cade Walter. Chance for Olney to get something going on offense.
And Walter, obviously it happens for major leaguers as well, but he is a bit of an anomaly for the Dusters, where sometimes he seems like he can be so locked in at the plate and like every ball he's just on. But then he'll have some at-bats where he really just does not seem to have it.
Ball in the dirt, Scott trying to take second, throw down in time! Aiden Ellis goes behind Cade Walter on the ball in the dirt, fires a missile down to Noel Rivera, who lays down a picture-perfect tag. And just like that, the shortstop makes up for his error. And the Cropdusters' base runner is no more. There's now 2 down. Cade Walter still at the dish.
Scott did not have a good read on that ball. I think right when he saw it bounce, I think he told himself he was going to go. But that error quickly just washed away with a great play from Ellis.
2-0 count to Walter. Make it 3 balls and no strikes. You hinted at it. He's an anomaly in the stat sheet as well. He has 8 hits on the season. 5 of them have been for extra bases, including 2 triples. 3-0 count to Walter. Make it 4 straight balls. Olney has a 2-out base runner. And it comes in Cade Walter.
We talked about the walks being an issue for Myers, 9 and 7 innings. This is only the first time that the Dusters have been able to get one, and it wasn't necessarily so much, work from the Dusters there, as just some poor pitches from Myers. We'll see if they can maybe work some more base on balls later in the game.
First pitch to Hawkins upstairs. Olney has been aggressive all season. Cade Walter has had relative success on the base paths. He's stolen 9 times, all successfully.
We talked about it before, though, as he's clearly taken off. And
Picked off at first. Aggression getting the best of the Cropdusters. He's in a rundown. Rivera lays down the tag, and a pair of base running errors cost the Cropdusters in the bottom of the 3rd. They come up empty-handed. It's still 5-0 DC. Olney shooting itself in the foot right now.
And there, the Grays doing what I've wanted to see from the Cropdusters. I mean, Cade, whatever it was clear that Walter was going to take second, and they prevented him from doing so. So, heads up baseball, and something you want to see more from the Cropdusters.
It's still 5-0. New arm coming in for the Cropdusters. We'll get you who it is momentarily.
Like
it's Egan Lowry. Nice shout, Ben.
We know our stuff these days. It's only been 15 games.
We're starting to memorize the numbers a little bit, memorize
and
faces.
The faces, yeah.
We are on a crazy wavelength right now.
we were away for 5 days, and just like that, doesn't take much.
Does not take much at all.
And yeah, let's address the elephant in the room. Away for a couple of days on vacation. How was it?
It was a great time.
Yeah, you feel relaxed, feel rested.
I feel rested. I feel recharged, and I came back with a couple of souvenirs, including some crystals and some sage. Maybe the Cropdusters could take use of it, exercise any early season demons that they have had to deal with, potentially lead to more success. I have them in my pocket right now. Unfortunately, it isn't yielding much for Olney.
No, I guess not. Maybe it is for our commentary, though.
I sure hope so. It's a 5-0 contest as we head to the top of the 4th. Egan Lowry is one of the most used pitchers for this Cropdusters team. He's appeared in 5 games. That leads the team. He's tied with Sean Rosemond. He's got a 14.21 ERA and 6 1/3 innings pitched. 10 earned runs allowed. He struck out 4, allowed 5 hits, has walked 10. It's been control for Lowry all season. It's a low-pressure scenario for him right now. His team is already down 5-0.
And I think Coach Leader and co, they really want him to get right, and they're just going to continue using because they like the stuff he has. It's all about strikes for him.
First pitch of the top of the 4th is low and outside. Ryan Grace, 9-hitter, standing in for the Grays. Flew out to Brian Scott in center field his first time up, and he's got a 2-0 count. We'll see whether or not Lowry can get his stuff under control. It's a chopper right back to him. Initially bobbles it, now will trot to first base. Underhand throw to Stalker. And the leadoff man is retired. Brings up the top of the order for DC's and Noel Rivera.
Number 9 from Marist College, Noel Rivera.
Rivera 1 for 2 on the afternoon. First time facing Lowry. Shows bunt, delivers. Lowry comes off the bump. One-handed scoop, throw to first. In time. The Grays putting Egan Lowry to work, and he delivers. Flashing the leather to get his first 2 outs of the contest.
And certainly Lowry will take that. Doesn't necessarily have to worry about strikes and whatnot. Just throws one pitch, gets the out. And also, I mean, wow, Rivera was really busting it down the line there. It was not a great bunt, and Lowry, got to it pretty quickly, but still Rivera almost able to beat it out. If that was anywhere more to either side of Lowry, you're looking at a pretty easy base knock.
Mark Quarry standing in. He's currently talking to his head coach down the third baseline. We saw this just a few weeks ago. DC will utilize all of its offensive timeouts. Quarry 2 for 2 on the evening with a pair of singles. First pitch inside, 83 on that changeup from Egan Lowry. It's 1-0. Make it 2-0. Back-to-back off-speed pitches miss the zone. Lowry retreats back to the rubber quickly. Already begins his windup. Delivers a fastball. It's skied out to right center. Walter makes the play. And the inning's over. Egan Lowry retires to the side. Cropdusters still trail by 5. 3-4-5 due up in the bottom of the fourth. So my trip was good, Ben. How were your 5 days without me, I suppose?
Unfulfilling, not having you in. No, they were okay. Weird to have those rainouts, but definitely a different experience doing the solo games. But no, I was able to get down to Baltimore, visit my girlfriend, which was nice for a couple days. But yeah, didn't feel right. It was after that, every day on talking to you for hours, having our fans listen. It was weird to to have that mix, but we're back, and with the schedule for the foreseeable future, we will be hopefully on your screen for the nights to come.
And hopefully we're on your screen. You have your volume turned up for us. Not
Indeed.
listening on mute, I sure hope. I know that we banter a little bit, but yes, a pair of visits to a pair of women, and now we're back refreshed.
You'd hope, but yeah, wherever you go. At least for me, I stayed in Maryland, but didn't beat the heat to say the least. How about that?
I traveled north and I still didn't beat the heat.
Yeah, it's tough right now,
And I made the mistake of packing an all-black outfit and saving that for my last day. Let me tell you, Ben, that was unforgiving. I'm sure it's even worse for these gentlemen out here wearing pants. Some of these guys wearing undershirts as well. I just can't even imagine. It was reading 108 on my dashboard as I was driving to the stadium today.
Terrible.
And we have AC in here, and I'm already sweating.
Yeah, that's how it's a hot day. If the players on the bench are wearing shorts, that is usually, something that is not allowed. But you can't, on a day like this, both coaches giving their players a chance just to, do anything they can to stay cool.
Zakai Hawkins, second time at the plate. Line drive, left center, on the run, goes Monk. It's over his head. One hops the wall. And Zakai Hawkins has a leadoff double. 343 on that extra base knock. That's the distance for Olney shortstop.
Crazily enough, the ball, you have to worry about that getting caught, despite it being, as much in that left center gap as it could be. Where the outfielder's playing led to that ball, having a scare that it wasn't going to be a routine double, but Hawkins earns a double anyway.
Hawkins now has 3 doubles on the season. He's getting awfully close to hitting one over. The guy at the plate sure does have home run power. It's Jimmy Kirk. Grounded out to Myers his first time up. Heater, or off speed rather, skipped in the dirt. Kirk takes 2 balls, no strikes.
Another really nice pick from Ellis, as Hawkins thought about going to third. He had to hustle back and almost slipped in the process. So Ellis certainly keeping the Cropdusters runners on their toes.
2 balls, no strikes. Hawkins fakes as if he'll steal. It's a called strike.
And you see Jimmy Kirk's frustration there. Hawkins bluffing the steal, Kirk doing what he's supposed to do, take the pitch in, allowing Hawkins to steal third. But with Hawkins faking, Kirk just had to take a fastball down the middle, and he's frustrated.
Myers goes back to the heater, sails upstairs. Kirk, half swing, did not go around, so the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth. Myers skips that one in the dirt once again. First 2 men on for the Cropdusters.
Batting next, the catcher, number 8 from Troy University.
Brings in Tyler Cook. And Brady Myers will get a mound visit. Couple guys getting loose in the DC bullpen. That's out in left field.
You talked about the lack of strikeout with Cook, though. He is someone that is privy sometimes to a hard ground ball situation where you have to find a way to, at the very least, you know, if you're going to hit a ground ball, hit it the other way, move the runners over. You cannot kill this rally with a double play. And obviously, you know, it's frustrating when you hit the ball hard and it still leads it to a double play, but you got to do everything you can to not, you know, to not go back to the dugout with 2 outs.
Cook has yet to ground into a double play this season. He hasn't seen a whole lot of action with runners on. Myers will stay on the bump. Cropdusters can't let another opportunity go to waste. Had 2 men on in the bottom of the third, and both were thrown out on the base paths. Tyler Cook 0 for 1 tonight. Weak ground ball to first in the first inning. Shows bunt, cannot lay it down. He's down 0-1.
That pitch was well out of the zone, and that's just a gift for multiple reasons. You know, someone who just walked a batter, the bunt sign is on, sure, but you have to find a way to pull back because, of course, a walk is better than a bunt. And, you know, maybe Cook's someone who's not used to bunting, just got a little, you know, over-anxious there and tried to bunt a pitch well out of the zone.
He shows bunt again, gets it down somehow, some way. Myers comes off the bump and delivers a strike to first. Tyler Cook is retired. That pitch nearly hit him.
I think it would have hit him if he pulled back, but I mean he's able to get the successful sack. But like same as a walk, a hit by pitch gets the runners over and, you know, prevents the out. But you can understand the protection, just trying to, you know, protect himself and put the ball in play.
Will Henson stands in with 2 men in scoring position. Cook doing his job. Chops at third base side. In comes Jenkins. 1-hop scoop. Throw on the run. Makes the play. Hawkins comes in to score. Cropdusters on the board. Nice play, though, by Carter Jenkins. That was far from easy.
So Coach Luter playing small ball, you know, trying to get those 2 runs home as opposed to playing for the big inning. Now we'll see if Knight can, you know, cash that second run in.
Went down looking his first time up. Myers back in the windup. First pitch off speed in there. Strike 1.
Knight didn't necessarily agree with it, but it had some plate for sure.
Our strike zone reads that it was in there. Next pitch skied back to Jenkins. Makes the play. And the inning is over. Cropdusters get on the scoreboard, but nothing more. They still trail 5-1 as we head to the 5th inning. Jaden Knight has the tools to be a great hitter. He's just yet to put them together so far this summer.
Egan Lowry hoping for more of the same. You know, certainly a little bit fortunate, kind of playing with fire, getting it 2-0 counts, but able to battle and, you know, work his way out of into 1-3 inning.
Egan Lowry now stands in. He's used to the heat. He's a long way from home, from Alabama, so this is no shock or surprise to him. He's dealt with this, I'm sure, throughout his life. Long way from home, though, as am I. As are you, Ben.
Yeah, but
Easy to miss your mom.
easy to miss the parents, of course. Yes, definitely. It's out, and they make sure that we should be missing them sometimes, but that that's their right, of course. But yeah, of course. I mean,
It's easy
Yeah.
to miss home sometimes.
definitely. I will say
Best
that
home cooked meal for you.
best home cooked meal for me. I I'd say it's fun when everyone has a role, but just in terms of sitting back and watch my mom do the job. As a kid, when I walked home and when I would get home from practice, whatever, and I see the big heaping bowl of spaghetti and meatballs, that's how you know it's a good day.
Pasta will always.
Yeah.
Lasagna for me is the
Yeah.
big one.
Lasagna, great, but my stomach might have other things to say about that, but certainly sometimes you just got to bear down and enjoy it.
Top of the fifth, getting things underway. It's 3-4-5 due up for DC. Ethan Nagy standing in. First time facing Lowry tonight. First pitch behind him. Off speed. Not finding success for Lowry early on.
So-
Nagy up rather 1-0.
I got to ask, your mom's lasagna, does she cook the pasta first? Does she do uncooked?
She cooks the pasta first.
Cooks pasta first. Okay, I know there's different schools of thought.
Doesn't cook it all the way through though.
Okay. More than, not just al dente, more
No-
than that.
Less than al dente. So she,
Yeah, exactly. Even less cooked than that. But it all comes together perfectly.
all comes together great. 2-0 pitch to Nagy. Ground ball. Hawkins on the run. Backhand throw well off the bag. Ethan Nagy reaches with an infield single. His first base knock of the evening. Second time he's reached base safely. DC has another leadoff man aboard.
Would have been quite the play by Hawkins, and his range has been impressive at shortstop. He was able to get that ball relatively easily, but yeah, throwing off his back foot. Just it's a tough play to make.
In the 3 innings, or in the 2 previous innings rather, where DC has had their leadoff men reach base safely, they've scored in each of those innings. The first and the third, as I got too caught up in my stat. Nagy was well off the bag. Cook tried to pick him off. Aaron throw, Aaron tag, and Ethan Nagy barely retreats back to first base. It's 1-0 to Andy Rivera.
Stalker not necessarily, in that ideal position for the pickoff, unfortunately.
Lowry working from the stretch. Sidearm delivery misses inside. 2-0. Rivera 0 for 1 tonight. Was hit by a pitch his first time up. Came around to score. Chopper, third base side. Throw down to second in time. No double play as the throw draws Stalker off the bag. Would not have mattered. Rivera was flying down the first baseline. Santiago Cruz to Henson. Gets Ethan Nagy at second base. Lead runner retired. Rivera takes over at first. There's one gone.
Yeah, credit to Henson. He tried to throw that ball as quickly as he could, but just no play there.
First pitch to Luke Couchy is outside. He's been killing the Cropdusters tonight. 2 doubles, 4 RBIs. Has another runner on in Rivera.
Rivera, someone who likes to steal, but Lowry's much quicker to home than Metric is. Still, though, Rivera will be thinking about it.
Lowry, although he is quick to home, has a tendency to leave some pitches well out of the zone. Lot that skips by the catcher. Rivera could easily take on a pass ball. We've already seen one thrown behind a batter here in the 5th inning. 2-0 pitch to Couchy. He chops that one to the left side, out of play. Make it 2-1.
And no disrespect to Tyler Cook's game in general, but it just seems like today he's made a couple of poor throws. So I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't seen the DC Grays, totally, push the button on that, but he was going on that pitch.
Rivera had a nice jump. Cauchy chopped it out of play. Count 2-2. Rivera retreats back to first base. Cook's best throw was that one down to first just moments ago, trying to pick off Ethan Nagy. Rivera stands about 6 feet off the bag, extends his lead. Lowry pauses, now heads home. Overhand delivery misses upstairs. 3 balls and 2 strikes. I find it interesting that Lowry changes his delivery based on the pitch.
Yeah.
It's an easy tell for the batter as to what's coming.
I think it's just difficult for the pitcher as well. It's, it gives you one more thing to think about. I mean, as a pitcher, all you're trying to do is calm your emotions and think about, next pitch. And you don't really want to be worrying about your mechanics. You want to, just replicate what you've done 10,000 plus times. But he's got to think about, okay, this time I'm going to throw out of this arm angle. It seems like a tough task.
3-2, Rivera goes. Another foul ball. That one chopped in between the legs of Luke Cauchy. Rivera retreats back to first once more.
Rivera,
Still 3-2.
Rivera was sort of in like a track runner stance on that one. He was just, all he was thinking about was stealing. Maybe Cook will tell Lowry to pick off here because Rivera was making his intentions incredibly clear.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Lowry heads home. Cauchy skies it to right. Walter on the run makes the play. Tries to throw back to first. It skips away from Stalker. Cook dives, makes the play. But in the meantime, Rivera takes second base. Fielding mishaps once more for the Cropdusters. Cade Walter trying to pick off Andy Rivera at first base, doubling him up. Instead, the ball gets away from Austin Stalker. Heads back to home plate. Tyler Cook had to get on his knees to retrieve it. And in the meantime, Rivera takes second base.
And not to say it's a sign of a bad team or anything, but when you see the ball just kind of be flying around the diamond and Cook throwing to second and Walter throws to first and the ball's flying, it's just, you never want to see that. It leads to errors, those extra throws. You got to know when just to put the ball in your pocket. I mean, it happened earlier in the game when Cook threw to second base and into the run to score. Sometimes the best throw you make is, no throw at all.
Walter trying to help his team get out of this inning. That seems like one you eat, though. He never really had a chance. Rivera wasn't too far off the bag, and Walter wasn't coming in. He was drifting to his left. Had to stop, pivot, and then release. Aggression proves to be costly for the Cropdusters as Carter Jenkins first pitch chopper to Santiago Cruz. Error costs nobody here in the 5th. Still a 5-1 ball game. Cropdusters back at the dish.
Seltzer beer and the all-new Cropduster Orange Crushes. Kona Ice is also here serving amazing summer
It's been a heck of a game
always delicious food.
fielding-wise. A couple mishaps. Base running errors have cost Olney. It hasn't been clean baseball, to say the least.
That is true. Although I will say, Angel Santiago Cruz has really...
Cropdusters are out of the dugout looking for the Cotton Eye Joe. They'll head back.
Cadron Ahern is dying for it. And
He's
doing
going to do
all
it
alone.
with no music. He'll keep the tradition alive. I didn't mean to cut you off, Ben.
Well, Angel Santiago Cruz, I feel like his throws have been incredibly true. Of course, we know he's a pitcher, but he's just absolutely firing across every throw right to Stalker's chest, and it makes it just gives you comfort as a pitcher, knowing that your pitcher is just gonna absolutely, your fielding the throws are gonna be good. You give up a ground ball right away. Okay, I can feel good while giving up ground balls. I trust my fielders to make the play.
New arm out there for DC. It's A.J. Thomas. Very nice outing for Brady Myers. Ends after 4. Just allowed 1 earned run. A.J. Thomas will take over with a 4-run cushion. Lefty for DC, making his first appearance on the mound this season. So a debut for A.J. Thomas in 2024 at Marist College. Did not appear in 2025. He tallied a 31.50 ERA in 4 innings pitched. Fastball in the low 80s for Thomas.
But another very tall, skinny guy.
First baseman number 16 from Westchester University, Austin Stoker.
A tall, skinny guy with an awkward delivery, too.
I talked about it in a game that where you weren't there. It's just interesting. It seems like such a high percentage of pitchers in this league have funky deliveries, whether it's just them trying to figure out, the best way they want to go ahead or trying to try something new. It's just interesting, but so many guys just not with a classic over-the-top delivery.
Sidearm delivery, misses outside fastball at 84. Stalker takes, it's 1-0. Austin Stalker grounded out his first time up. Lefty-lefty matchup, heater upstairs, 85 from Thomas. Velocity much higher than listed on his official page.
Stalker in a fastball count exactly where he wants to be.
Swing and a miss. Gets the fastball, swings right through it. It's 2-1.
And look where Andy Rivera's playing. Some would say he's respecting Austin Stalker. Others would, maybe more cynical take is he's doing what he can to stay in the shade as he's, playing pretty deep to make sure he still's got that shade in him.
Stalker looks like he's trying to hit it over his head with those 2 hacks. He's missed on both and has a 2-2 count. He's not choking up. 2-2. Swing and a miss. 3 straight fastballs blow right by Austin Stalker. And A.J. Thomas has a strikeout to start his outing.
Thomas just going right at Stalker for falling behind 2-0, and that's what you want to see out of your pitcher. I mean, he throws 2 straight balls and then decides, I'm just going to be as aggressive and attack and do what I can, and that's exactly what he does. Stalker really not able to make an adjustment.
Stalker 0 for 2. Santiago Cruz 0 for 1 tonight with a strikeout. First pitch was outside. He took 1-0 count. Thomas stands parallel to the rubber prior to his windup. And just the interesting delivery mechanics continue. He's got a 2-0 count. He's got to battle back from. Heater right down Broadway. Santiago Cruz takes. Count 2-1. Santiago Cruz entered tonight, batting 160 on the season. 2-1 pitch off speed. Skips out of the glove of Ellis. Would have missed regardless. 69 miles an hour on that breaking ball. That's a heck of a velocity difference. 87 on the fastball, 69 on the off speed.
And the difference was clear in Santiago Cruz's reaction. He kind of slowed down and still had time.
Delivers a fastball. Santiago Cruz was late, timing potentially thrown off by that off-speed pitch. And after being down 2-0, A.J. Thomas has battled back to make it a full count. Three and 2. Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for A.J. Thomas. There's now 2 gone here in the bottom of the 5th.
Number 3 from Frostburg State University.
Santiago Cruz goes out of the zone for that one. And, you know, we've seen Thomas get strikeouts to both of these hitters on pitches out of the zone. That time, you know, Santiago Cruz is unable to let that go. Some late movement going away from him maybe makes it a more interesting pitch.
First pitch to Brian Scott, another 69-mile-per-hour looping breaking ball. Coats the inside corner. Scott, timing was thrown off. He's usually pretty hasty to swing to the first pitch. And that's the fastest pitch right there we've seen from Thomas. 89-mile-an-hour heater, 20 miles an hour difference.
I wonder if he also has a bit of a sharper break, because I think you don't want to be a two-pitch pitcher when the two pitches are so different in speed.
Scott skies that one to the right side, out of play. Or down the fair ball down the line, rather. Brian Scott has a double. The sun blinded the ball for me at least, Ben. Good call on you for seeing it.
Batting next to right fielder number 6 from Jacksonville.
Really nice piece of hitting from Scott. I mean, fast, 89-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer part of the zone. All he does is just kind of flick his hands the other way and lets the velocity carry us, and with his speed, able to get to second.
Top of the order in as that ball skips away from Ellis right into the backstop. Just completely missed. No skip, rather.
Totally yanked it. And we saw how Thomas attacked Stalker, the only other lefty he's faced. His fastball's up in the zone. We'll see if, Walter, not as big of a guy, doesn't have that power build at least.
Runner on third with 2 outs. Fastball misses high. Cade Walter has a 2-0 count. Walked on 4 pitches his last time up. Make it 3-0. Cade Walter has watched 7 straight pitches in his last 2 at-bats. Has a chance for another 4-pitch walk here with 2 gone.
And the Dusters' hottest hitter up next.
Thomas delivers. Fastball right down the pipeline. It's 3-1. He's working from the windup with the runner on third, and he's delivered 2 straight strikes. Cade Walter has yet to swing this at bat, yet he's got a full count, 3-2. Chance for the Cropdusters to continue to chip away at this DC lead. Swinging a foul tip. Walter lives to see another. One popped right out of Ellis's glove.
Because of the count, starting at 3-0, never really got a chance for that break for Walter to see the breaking ball. The question is, would Thomas consider going to it on 3-2?
Goes breaking ball, and it's in there! Called strike 3. Completely froze Cade Walter. Brian Scott stranded. Lead stays at 4 for DC as we head to the top of the 6th.
Really tough pitch to do anything with after seeing 6 straight fastballs. You get the curveball. I mean, just, it's we haven't seen anyone swing at that pitch on the first time around. So for Walter, yeah, just I'm sure he was hoping not to see it. Then it came, and then it was just, not much you can really do with that.
A.J. Thomas, the 3 outs he got, all of them came via the strikeout. Was a Brian Scott double away from retiring the side. Really productive inning for A.J. Thomas in his first outing of the season. Egan Lowry right back on the rubber for his 3rd inning of work.
Lowry, yeah, I mean, he's done everything you could have asked for. He came in a 5-0 game, and he's put 2 scoreless innings on the board. The hope that he could get some more runs for it. He got 1 back, but unable. He's been unable to get any more help than that.
Cropdusters offensive lulls continuing to cripple them here tonight. Olney has only recorded 3 hits, has struck out 5 times, and when they've gotten runners on via walks or via errors, base running mistakes have led to easy outs.
And we saw this, at the Giants game, where these umpires wearing a lot of gear, as overheating becomes an issue, and in that game, what actually led to a pretty lengthy delay, about 40 minutes, while figuring out what to do, and then eventually taking the gear off and going to a 2-man umpire crew. Well, so it's unclear how long we're in for, but it could be a little while here, as we hope that of course the umpire is okay.
He definitely playing a factor. We see some fans here with umbrellas draped over their heads just because of how critical it can be.
Sun's still beating down, no doubt about it.
So a brief pause in game action in between the 5th and the 6th, as the umpires alongside both teams attempting to cool off at least slightly. DC has cooled off offensively after tallying 5 through the first 3.
But pitching from Myers and Thomas has made that 5 hold up so far. Yeah, we wish we had more to tell you, but we don't want to speculate, but we do just assume it's just an overheating situation, and yeah, a lot of game left, and not to be cynical of any sort, but I will say the Dusters were losing 6-0, then 8-2. They had the umpire related stoppage, and it was actually after that, where after the pause, the Cropdusters came in kind of with a different strategy, and they were able to put up 5 runs in the 8th and then score 2. So maybe that break, it gives them a chance to reset, coach leader, and gets to talk to him, maybe even review some at-bats, and could lead to some different approaches in these final 4 innings of work.
We're unsure how long the stoppage is for both sides. A couple players pouring water on themselves. Cropdusters in need.
But the guys are heading back out, so it seems like it'll be a much quicker stoppage than we had in that game a couple days ago.
Guys back out there for both sides.
Lowry certainly not in a rush to warm up. You can understand why. Doesn't want to exert too much energy if he's just going to be waiting for a little bit. But when he gets the all clear that all the umps are ready, he'll start preparing.
Cropdusters trailing by 4. Chance for them to recollect, as you said, Ben, and get back into a groove.
Lowry.
It's again.
Yeah.
In Frozen when they sing the song about finishing each other's sentences.
Sure.
That's how I feel right now.
Except none of us is gonna actually be evil.
Well, we don't know that.
We
There's
don't
still a
know
lot of
that.
season left.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. One of us, could actually be, living a double life.
Which one of us would be Hans and the other one Anna? You give me Anna vibes.
Oh yeah.
You have the hair to go along with it.
I'd say yeah, but for me, you're not giving off any Hans vibe. More Kristoff, just of course, But I don't know if you got a moose hanging around anywhere or something of that sort.
I have my dog when I'm back home.
Yeah.
That's the closest thing I have to a moose. I'd be okay with being Sven or Olaf or whomever.
Look at you. We got a real Frozen fan over here.
I've seen it a few times. Hydration break for the umpires. Looks like it's coming to an end. I'm sure if we really want to keep the pun and the joke going, I'm sure these umpires would love to have Elsa come here and
pull
things off.
And just picture her abilities. I mean, we saw what she did in this a minute making a castle. Imagine a nice Frozen baseball field. Makes you think of kind of more of a Mario Super Sluggers type of thing. But
we are going all over the place, talking anything but baseball. We're really letting it go.
We got a hydration. Oh, look at you. We got a hydration break. I mean, what else can you do? As Lowry, he's done a great job putting up 2 zeros on the board. It's really everything you could have hoped for out of someone who's struggled with control. He's fell behind some hitters, but in every situation, he's gotten the outs, and you'd hope the stoppage wouldn't do the same.
Aiden Ellis will finally get us started here in the top of the 6th. Lowry wastes no time delivering the first pitch. It misses low. Ellis 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out in the 3rd, looking. First time facing Lowry. Skies that one out of play. It's 1-1. Lowry has only allowed 1 base runner through his first 2 innings of work. He's going up against 7, 8, 9 to finish his 3 innings.
Yeah, combined 0 for 8. These guys, not in that spot for any random reason. They're certainly struggling a bit right now in the season.
1-1 outside. Ellis takes it to 2-1. Lowry from the windup. Ground ball, Hawkins scoops, collects, throw to first in time. 1 gone. Aiden Ellis now 0 for 3. Egan Lowry really dealing tonight, something that we've been looking to see from the righty.
And he's gotten 5 of the 7 outs on the ground. That's how he wants to pitch. He's trying to, especially to the righties, get that fastball cut with some sinking motion inside, get it on the hands and get some contact on the ground, and he's done a great job so far.
First pitch to Dixon. Monk, breaking ball called, strike 1. Right above the knees. Monk 0 for 2 tonight. Lowry loses control of that one. Just a bit inside.
every now and then you're gonna just see a wild one, but it's all about how he's bounced back, and you can certainly take a couple wild misses if they're followed by a couple nice pitches in the zone.
Especially if nobody's on as well, which Lowry has been relatively good at tonight. Only one base runner. 1-2 count to Dixon Monk. Lowry goes sidearm, swing and a miss. Monk completely fooled. Chasing the off-speed well outside. 2 up, 2 down to start the top of the 6th.
It's the wicked slider that doesn't stop moving. It's pretty up in the zone a lot, but this stays on that plane and ends up way away of the plate.
He goes right back to that breaking ball against Ryan Grace. Called strike 1. Breaking ball again, check swing. He went around. Count 0-2.
Looking the most comfortable I think he's looked all year in this outing, especially this inning.
Shakes off Cook. Now begins his delivery. Fastball, ground ball. Henson. Throw to first. In time. And Egan Lowry retires the side and puts a exclamation mark on his best outing of the season. No earned runs allowed through 3 innings, just 1 hit. Egan Lowry finally finding some mojo. Hopefully the offense for the Cropdusters can do the same. We head to the bottom of the 6th with Olney still trailing by 4.
Been such an impressive outing. If that is it from Lowry, then he'll certainly be getting some handshakes. Everything you could have hoped for.
And nothing against Egan Lowry, but the fact that it was such a switch, such a flip from what we've seen, was almost a bit unexpected, Ben. You would expect him to find his groove as we proceed throughout the remainder of the season, and maybe you would see a performance like that in late July. But the fact that he flipped that switch tonight is really encouraging, even the Cropdusters coaching staff.
Indeed. Now you hope that Lowry can make it stand and just build off that and go back to what made him feel good in this outing and what he was thinking, what he did going into the day, and try to replicate everything as much as possible.
It was a quick outing for A.J. Thomas. He's been replaced by a new arm for DC. We'll get you who it is in just a moment. Alex Burgeon standing in for the Grays. Burgeon has appeared in 2 games for DC, 4 innings pitched combined in those outings. Has allowed 1 hit and 1 earned run, walked 3, struck out 5. That's a 2.25 ERA. Burgeon has a fastball, curveball, changeup, slider arsenal. Fastball topping out at 90 miles an hour, changeup, high 70s to low 80s curveball, maxing at around 75, and the slider hanging anywhere from 75 to 76 miles an hour.
So the third arm, often for the Cropdusters, the more pitchers they see, it's a good thing, because, it has been a theme throughout the season where sometimes they just get on a guy really well, and sometimes you can tell pretty early on whether it's going to be they're going to be able to have a lot of success against pitchers. They're not necessarily the team that second or third time around really gets things going. Either it's pretty early on they're able to hit a guy or not. So maybe a third pitcher, we can see this, especially with it being 2, 3, 4 in the lineup, that they can get going against this new arm.
Zakai Hawkins leads things off. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Had a single in the first, a double in the fourth. If he continues to build, we can expect a triple here, Ben.
Yeah, that on-base percentage continues to creep up for Hawkins. He's approaching that 500 mark.
and you mentioned it, Ben, he's the hottest hitter on this Cropdusters team. If anybody rather is going to get something started, it's Hawkins. He scored the only run for Olney tonight. First pitch in the dirt. Breaking ball hangs low for Alex Bergin. It's 1-0 to Hawkins. Fastball misses inside. Make it 2 balls and no strikes.
The patient approach that we've talked about, but he's also not afraid to swing. We saw him swing first pitch when he drilled a double last at bat.
Hawkins, for being so young, has been awfully disciplined, and he has his third base knock of the night. 3 for 3 is Zakai Hawkins. Single right up the middle.
Designated hitter number 40 from Millersville University.
Leadoff man on for Olney. Jimmy Kirk stands in. Zakai Hawkins is about as hot as you can be at the plate. Saw a pitch he liked, fastball right down the middle. Didn't try to do too much with it, just hit it right up the gap. Brings in a big power hitter for Olney. It's Jimmy Kirk. First pitch inside. Kirk takes. It's 1-0.
So Hawkins did his job as a table setter. Kirk usually thought of as a big bopper, but right now with down 4, you just want to build your way back.
Seemed as though Ellis was going to try and pick off Hawkins at first base. Hawkins was caught nearly on a pickoff in the first inning. Instead, the ball was skied into center field on an overthrow by Brady Myers. Kirk has watched 2 straight strikes go by. He's down 1-2. Hawkins awfully aggressive on the base paths. Cleanup man and Tyler Cook waits in the on-deck circle. Kirk, line drive, right field, tailing towards the line, out of play.
Puts a decent swing on that pitch. 88, outside part of the plate. Kirk not trying to do too much with it, trying to shoot it the other way. And also, found that result, fouling it off and hoping to get a pitch with some more play that he could pull because, like we talked about, a ball down the line and you can just run for days.
DC shading towards right field against the lefty batter. Off goes Hawkins. Ball gets away from Ellis. Big turn at second base. He'll hold there. And Zakai Hawkins now has his 11th stolen base of the season.
And again, that's Hawkins we talked about. He's, despite that ball going to the backstop, he had that base easily stolen, reading the pitcher, taking a good jump, and taking the base.
2-2 to Kirk, who's 0 for 1 tonight. Breaking ball skied right to Noel Rivera. 1 down, he makes the play. Just a few feet away from his third baseman, Carter Jenkins, and Jimmy Kirk is retired. Tyler Cook stands in. He's 0 for 1. Laid down a nice bunt his last time up. It was awkward, nearly hit him. Somehow got it down.
I think it's fair to say Jimmy Kirk is in his first little slump of the year. He came in and provided an instant, spark, but he's definitely just kind of in a bit of a lull right now.
First pitch to Cook is foul to the left side. Kirk, you're right, Ben. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Had that monstrous swing just a few days ago against the Giants, but since then he's really tailed off.
Yeah, he was 0 for 5 against a big train the next day.
Hawkins nearly caught once more. Tried to get an early jump. Bergen had not delivered.
Yeah, not exactly sure what Hawkins was going for there because he was getting looked at, maybe just trying to get in the head, but you're down 4 runs. You can't risk yourself getting picked off.
Hawkins has the speed to take just normally. 1-1 pitch to Cook outside. Ellis slides to make the play. 2-1 now to Olney's catcher. Cook has just 1 hit on the season. It was an RBI double. Scored 2 on that swing. Has a chance to drive in his 3rd run of the season. chops that one third baseline out of play. Tyler Cook has an even count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Will Henson waits in the on-deck circle. There's one gone here in the bottom of the 6th. Luke Couchy shading Zakai Hawkins at second base. Cook just gets a piece of it. He lives to see another. Grounded right onto home plate. Nice breaking ball from Burgeon. Cook was well ahead of it.
Well done to get a piece, you know, at the very least, of course. But yeah, Cook's got to find a way to make something happen here.
2-2. Breaking ball upstairs. Cook takes. Count worked full. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Only the 6th inning, of course. But the leadoff runner, you know, getting to second, you want to get at least that run in, make it a 3-run game going into the final 3 innings.
Off goes Hawkins. Swing and a miss by Cook. Hawkins takes third. Cook down on strikes.
Next, the second baseman, number 25 from VCU, Will.
Well late on that fastball. And again, up and out of the zone. Cook unable to, you know, as a couple guys today, righties have swung at a lot of high fastballs away from them. Just unable to get anything on that one.
Good jump by Hawkins. Burgeon does a nice job in just retiring the batter. He's now got 2 outs. All he has to do is focus on Will Henson, who you can just tell he's choked about an inch up on the bat. He's looking for contact. Draws some there, fouls it to the right side. He's down 0-1.
But a smart pitch with you know, 2 outs. You see that he's choked up. You go inside. It's really tough to get the barrel out. You know, when you're it's just a different swing.
0-1 hits. Will Henson grazes the elbow. He takes first base. Jaden Knight,
Batting next to left
a
fielder,
big spot
from the University of Notre Dame, Jaden Knight.
to really help out his team. He's 0 for 2 tonight. Has 2 RBIs on the season, just 3 hits. Runners on the corners, only down 4. One swing makes it a 1-run game. Ground ball, base hit. Into right, Rivera comes in. Henson on the run to third. Play, throw, in time! What a throw by Andy Rivera. Will Henson caught trying to take an extra base. Olney tallies 1 on the play, but no more. The inning ends there as Andy Rivera tallies the outfield assist. It's a 5-2 contest as we head to the top of the 7th. Nice piece of hitting by Jaden Knight. Unfortunately, another inning ends on base running for the Cropdusters.
Really feels like the Cropdusters have just got into the habit of shooting themselves in the foot. You know, in the game where the Cropdusters were trailing by 3, I believe, against the Giants, inning starts, Carter Ritchie hits a homer. And then you get 2 straight base knocks. So then you got first and third. Jaden Knight had a hit. Stalker tried to score on it. He was out. So, you know, although they were able to score 2 that inning, it was one of those situations where it could have been this big inning, could have really helped them get going, but instead, you know, you get the out on the bases, and it's just such a rally killer. Of course, in this inning, it actually was the killer in terms of it being the end of the inning, but just, you know, you get a base knock, you got 2 guys on with first and second, Henson decent speed, and we saw that Hawkins was able to take third pretty easily, so that's got to maybe be in your account too, that being able to steal third, so it's not necessarily needed to take third on the ground out, on the ball. So just a little bit unfortunate there as another little thing that is just hurting the Cropdusters come back.
3 outs have occurred on the base paths tonight for Olney, including that outfield assist from Andy Rivera, which ends the 6th. It is a 3-run contest, Ben. You hinted at it. Cropdusters have 9 outs remaining. Need at least 3 to tie it if DC does not tally anymore.
Seems they're going to have another hydration break. It is hot here and is unfortunately not getting any less hot.
Sun's still peeking over the first base dugout. We've yet to see who's coming in for Olney in the 7th inning.
So, we'll see if it'll be a longer delay. 2 umpires on the bump are still out there, which would make you think that none is preparing to put on the gear to be a home plate umpire, but right now just kind of waiting around.
The heat has been unforgiving to him, as well as I'm sure Aiden Ellis and Tyler Cook, both men, burying a lot of gear as they squat behind the plate to catch their respected pitchers.
Catchers are so tough. They put up with so much in just every game.
And it's a position that doesn't often get a whole lot of glory. Often the most humble guys on each side.
Yeah, I mean, you just take hits and you just they move on, and it's part of the culture of being a catcher. It's one that you got to have a lot of respect for sure.
Cook back out in his all black attire. Top of the order for DC. New arm for the Cropdusters. It's Matt Russell. Another of Adam Leader's high school products. Russell also set to attend Towson. He's been spectacular, even more so than his Reservoir High School counterpart in Gavin Metrick. In 2 outings, Russell has pitched 6 1/3, only allowed 3 hits and 1 earned run, has struck out 8 while walking 1. It's a 1.42 ERA.
And Russell was so incredibly impressive in the game against the Gaithersburg Giants. I believe he went 4 innings in that one of just dominant baseball. He had his fastball working, his off speed as well, and he's someone he's a confidence pitcher. He get a couple outs, and you can really tell he starts grooving. He takes it easy. He feels so much better on the bump, and yeah, excited. I mean, it was really fun watching him last time as you saw him gain the confidence every out at a time. Hope to see it again in this outing.
Russell has 3 innings of work to continue his mojo that we saw against the Giants. He came in relief. Olney was down in that contest, held the Giants' offense. Cropdusters came back and won that game on Father's Day.
Yeah, and I was talking about it with Tori and Domenico how, it often feels like these Cropdusters pitchers are pitching in games that they're down, and the psychological aspect of that. And, and Domenico said that just it puts more on every pitch where you really, you have to execute because the worst thing that you can do is extend that deficit. So you're doing everything you can to just keep giving your team a chance, and that's what Russell knows he has to do right now.
Russell, fastball, changeup, curveball, slider is what the righty's working with. Fastball topping at 89 to 90. Changeup, low 80s. Curveball, mid 70s, and the slider maxing at 80 miles an hour. Top of the order for DC in the 7th inning. It's Noel Rivera. He's 1 for 3 with a single. Came around to score in the first. First pitch in the dirt. Rivera takes. It's 1-0. Home plate umpire bearing a wet towel on his neck after the break. Heater misses away.
There were a couple of years where, I don't even remember the name of them, but those towels that you'd put cold water on them. They would and then you put them on. Those were all the rave for baseball players for about 3 years. But you feel like they have not stayed popular.
It's almost like the neck pads that linebackers used to wear.
A couple of guys still wear them. I believe Alex Anzalone maybe still rocks them. Gotta like when you see them. They're classic.
It's a good look.
For sure it is.
Leighton Vander Esch used to wear it too. 3-0 pitch in there, strike one. I always think Mike Singletary, Dick Butkus, those guys, the Bears linebackers. It's a 3-1 count. Russell from the windup. Misses. Low and away. And Noel Rivera draws the leadoff walk.
Some tough misses there.
We said Leighton Vander Esch used to wear it. Sean Lee, another guy.
Yeah, Cowboys linebackers, of course, they've a long history of good linebackers from them. Of course, Michael Parsons now is quite the weapon.
We know that both you and I are Dallas distasters, as the first pitch to Quarry is low. Russell struggling to locate. He's thrown 5 balls to just 1 strike.
And
Quarry 2 for 3 tonight.
Yeah, even the strike a little bit down is he's struggling to maybe extend his legs or just get fully loose as he's missing down right now. Not the consistency that we were expecting from someone who was so solid his last outing.
Ball grounded in the dirt. Rivera holds at first as Cook blocks.
Yeah, he's not happy with the mound. He's the body. We talked about him being a big confidence guy, big body language guy. When he's going well, he's feeling good. He's pitching fast. But right now, he's clearly not feeling great about this outing so far, and it's affecting him. He's got to find a way to bear down regardless.
2-0 pitch, make it 3-0. You can see it from Matt Russell. When he comes set, it's a little bit more aggressive. He's putting some force, driving that ball into his glove.
And his finish is a little bit wild, kind of finishing open, as you see that. A good example, when you're finishing up your curveball nowhere near the zone, and it's not what we became accustomed to.
Back-to-back walks for DC to start the 7th. Russell staying wide open.
And we talked about it. He has his little quirks, his tendencies when he's going right. He gets the ball and he does a couple, little movements. Not really seeing him do that right now. Not really in that rhythm.
Standing extremely vertical on the finish. It's like he's just trying to pound it in there. Get back to throwing it more than pitching it. He misses on the leadoff to Ethan Nagy. It's 1-0. Make it 2-0. Russell has to battle through some adversity.
And I think he's working too fast. I mean, he's trying to will himself to throw a strike. He's got to take a beat and remember who he is. Right now, he's really just trying to throw the pitch and get back in the zone. That's not how you come back in a count.
Make it 3 balls and no strikes. It's 11 misses and 1 hit for Matt Russell. He'd only walked 1 batter entering tonight. So far, he's walked 2 at risk of walking 3.
I'm shocked Coach Evans hasn't gone out there yet because he's just, clearly does not have it right now, and he's
Matt Russell has pitched himself into quite the jam. 3 straight walks, bases loaded, and Adam Leader will head out to talk to Russell.
We saw this before, Leader more familiar with him. These two have a relationship, so it makes sense that you're seeing Leader come out. But, yeah, I think a little too late after that second walk, or even maybe you could have waited until it was 2-0, but, I mean, wouldn't take a genius to know that he was not going to be throwing strikes in that third at-bat to Nagy. So, giving some patience to Russell, but now it's bases loaded, no outs.
Right after the Cropdusters tallied 1 in the bottom of the 6th, only at risk of letting 1, or it seems like potentially more in. Bases juice, nobody out. Russell stays on the bump. And unfortunately for the Cropdusters, this jam has come so quickly that they haven't had the time to get another arm loose to replace Russell. So for the time being, it'll be the rising freshman. It's Noel Rivera on third, Mark Quarry on second, Ethan Nagy on first, Andy Rivera at the dish.
So Russell taking a bit of a breather, and like you said, it all happened so fast. He's hasn't really gotten a chance to catch his breath. He blinks, and it's basically low to no outs.
Andy Rivera not related to Noel Rivera, who stands on third. First pitch called strike one. Upper part of the zone. Goes Russell's way. 0-1. Infield. Corners are in for the Cropdusters. Middle infield back. Russell from the windup. Off speed low. Misses. Count even, a ball and a strike.
But that was a more promising off-speed pitch there. You know, he got the big break that he likes, and it was more of the sliding action, not just kind of straight down. Of course, still too low though.
1-1 pitch. Hard line drive out of play. Make it 1-2.
And a chance to go back to the off-speed now. You know, he hasn't shown the ability to throw a strike with it. I think Rivera could be frozen up on a well-placed off-speed pitch.
A ball and 2 strikes. Russell off speed. Called strike 3. Big out for Matt Russell. There's now 1 gone. Bases still loaded. Luke Couchy, who has killed the Dusters tonight, has 4 RBIs. 2 for 3 with 2 doubles. Corner still in for the Cropdusters. That ball nearly skips away from Cook. 86-mile-an-hour fastball. Cook just gets some leather on it. It's 1-0.
Good play by Cook. You know, he's got a situation here. You cannot let anything get past you. Corner's in.
Swing and a miss. Slider away. Couchy chases. Count even, 1-1.
And again, there's that slider that we've seen in the past with Russell getting the good shape. Just seems more in control of it.
Right back to it, misses low.
Not a terrible pitch, but of course, you know, the starting it on the hip and breaking it out for a righty is such a tough pitch to do.
2-1. Fastball, Cook tried to frame it and gets the call.
Much needed call.
Matt Russell a gift. That ball 6 inches at least out of the zone. Tyler Cook helping his pitcher out. 2-2 as opposed to 3-1. Russell kicks, deals, home, inside. Nearly hit Couchy. He ducked out of the way. Turned his back, moved his leg.
Yeah, fortunate there that the ball did not hit Couchy. Again, just not getting the grip, not getting the pitch that he wants. Of course, he's trying to get that on the outside part of the plate.
Payoff pitch, 3-2. Upstairs, and Matt Russell walks in a run. 4 balls on bases for Russell, and DC makes it 6-2.
Unfortunate for him. Yeah, and it's a situation there. Didn't get on top of that breaking ball. Just kind of left it to the side, and that's when you see that moving, but it's staying high in the zone.
Chopper from Couchy. Hawkins flips. Henson throw to first in time. Huge double play for the Cropdusters. 6-4-3 ends the top of the 7th. DC makes it 6-2.
Hey fans, it's now that time of the game for the 7th.
McCarter Jenkins,
That time to get up
not
to
his
speed.
night, 0
This
for
race is
3.
on to
And that one,
to the ball game.
really killer. A base hit could have put this thing away.
All things considered, though, could have been much worse. I mean, you walk 4 guys and it's only 1 run. That's the bare minimum. So
3 of those walks come with nobody out.
exactly. So Russell hopefully can kind of take the positives and the way he was able to get the strikeout and double play and take it into his next inning of work, but had to work hard just to, you know, survive that inning.
Alex Burgeon back on the bump. Allowed a run in the bottom of the 6th. He's back out for the 7th. It'll be 7, 8, 9 for the Cropdusters. Austin Stalker, Anel Santiago Cruz, and Brian Scott due up for Olney.
You'd love to see something, especially out of the 7 and 8 hitters. I mean, Scott has gotten on base both times, once on the double, once on the error. But Stalker and Santiago Cruz have both had relatively non-competitive at-bats both times they've each got to the plate. So in a bit of an adjustment would be great, especially from Stalker. Now, not a better matchup on paper, not a hard-throwing lefty, someone that he can kind of hopefully sit back on and try to shoot it the other way, something that he's been trying to do.
DC has shaded the opposite field all night long. Stalker is 0 for 2 tonight. Olney itself only has 4 hits. 3 of them have come from Zakai Hawkins. 5 hits rather. 3 of those have come from Hawkins. 1 from Jaden Knight and 1 from Brian Scott. Austin Stalker will get us underway after a brief 7th inning stretch. Burgeon, fastball, away, called strike 1.
That's some late break that seemed to move it a bit far away out of the zone, but called to strike. The umpire, not to speculate, but we know he is quite hot. Maybe some, psychologically, he's trying to get this game moving.
Stalker line drive, base hit into right, bounces away from Rivera. Stalker trying to take 2, and he does. Nice piece of base running from Austin Stalker.
From the University of Richmond, Angel Santiago Cruz.
Big for the Cropdusters, leadoff man aboard. Brings in Anel Santiago Cruz for Stalker. That's his first double of the season.
It's a chance to do some damage. Again, you get a leadoff runner on second base. Got to find a way to get more than just that runner in. You cannot keep chipping away is great, but eventually, it's got to be the bloop bloop and a blast, and hopefully, the bottom of the order can carry it to the top of the order where this can really get some damage done.
Fastball missed well high. Santiago Cruz has a 2-0 count. He's 0 for 2 tonight with 2 strikeouts. It's his first time facing Burgeon. Righty takes his time on the mound. Now comes set. Swing and a miss. Cruz misses the upstairs fastball. He's been chasing that all night long.
We've talked about, Santiago Cruz's willingness to chase the high pitch. In a situation like that, 2-0 down 4, you'd like to see him let that one go.
2-1 outside. Santiago Cruz holds. He even held the bat out there for an extra few
Showing
seconds.
it, making sure the umpires were aware that he held it.
It's 3-1. Stalker on second. He's well off the bag. Fastball upstairs part of the plate. Count worked full 3-2. Outfield shading towards the right. Payoff pitch. Broken bat right back to Burgeon. Checks on Stalker, throws to first. The runner advances. Santiago Cruz retired. There's one down. And one bat down here in the bottom of the 7th. Brian Scott stands in. Double to right his last time up. First pitch chopper right back to Burgeon. He throws to first. Stalker holds at third.
Good play by Burgeon. Checking on Stalker, making him go back just enough so he couldn't sprint home when the throw was made to first. And now, another situation where the Dusters are in deep need of a clutch hit.
Olney at risk of stranding another leadoff base runner. Walter swings and misses. First pitch fastball. Walter can't connect. It's 0-1. He's 0 for 2 tonight with 2 strikeouts. Has also walked. High fly ball out to right. Rivera barely has to move. Battling the sun makes the play. And the inning's over. Leadoff double yields nothing for the Cropdusters. They still trail by 4 as we head to the top of the 8th.
At the end of 7 innings of play, the score is the Grays 6, your Cropdusters 2.
Just struggling to get hits together. I mean, they have 6. Of course, 4 of them have come from Hawkins. But yeah, I mean, there hasn't been consecutive hits. Excuse me, Jaden Knight and Austin Stalker had consecutive hits, but did not actually come in the same inning. No, that's not even accurate either. Sorry. No, it is. It is accurate. Sorry about that, guys. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you can't speculate, but Jaden Knight had the base knock. Henson gets caught at third. I mean, who knows? Stalker gets that hit. 1 run with the error, maybe 2 runs scored regardless, and then you're looking at a 5-4 ball game. But yeah, just the inability to move guys consistently over. The concept of get him over, get him in is something that the Cropdusters have struggled with all season.
They need a key outing from Russell to keep this lead, or this deficit rather, at 4. Olney's offense has been lulling so far this evening. They're down to 6 outs.
Now batting for the Grays, the catcher, number 32 from Rutgers, Aiden Ellis.
Aiden Ellis stands in for the Grays. First pitch in there, strike 1. Nice slider from Russell. Better start to the 8th than he had for the 7th. Ellis 0 for 3 tonight. Chopper gets past Stalker. Into right base hit. Austin Stalker laid out for it. Went right under his glove. Leadoff man aboard for the Grays. Brings in Dixon Monk.
Went to the changeup there, and it did its job. It got the lefty Ellis in front of it and rolling over on it, but just fortunate placement for Ellis.
And Ellis's night is done. He'll be replaced by a pinch runner. It's Andrew Ruggieri, who gets picked off immediately, gets back safely. Pitcher pinch running.
Why not? Got some wheels to him. And, a better throw there. He would have had a decent play in Ruggieri, but just threw it to the wrong side of Stalker.
First pitch to Monk, called strike 1. Russell locating better. Has not yielded any outs so far this inning. Off goes Ruggieri. Throw down to second. Gets into the outfield. Ruggieri did not notice. Scott was coming in either way. Successful steal for the pitcher, who's pinch running for Aiden Ellis. Runner in scoring position with nobody out for the DC.
Yeah, Tyler Kirkstrow just well off target there. And again, not surprised to see them press the issue there, because whether it's been because of the pitchers or Cook, just yet to really see any real example of keeping the runners honest.
And it looks like we're going to get a meeting of the umpires.
Not sure what they're discussing. Zakiah Hawkins really not happy about it over at shortstop. Shaking his head, hand on his hips. He looks like he's going to ask for a manager.
Maybe he's hoping for obstruction from the hitter. Or I'm not exactly sure what he saw or what he felt has happened.
Maybe interference by Hawkins at second. Play stays the same. Runner on second, 1-1 count to Monk. Nobody out, 6-2 ball game. And that one hits Monk. Slider. Russell loses control. First 2 men on for the Grays in the top of the 8th.
Again, that slider. He's just not had a consistent feel for it. I mean, you can see the movement is. It's such a quality pitch, but just right now he's yanking it. He is starting it well inside, and it's just moving. It's not starting at the batter and moving away. I mean, obviously that time ended right at the batter. So Russell does not have the stuff we're accustomed to.
That's a guy you don't want to walk or hit, rather. He's over through tonight in a bit of a lull. Brings up Ryan Grace, the 9-hitter, 2 men on. Off goes Ruggieri, off goes Monk. They throw down to second. In time. Dixon Monk, a late jump, it costs him. He's thrown out by Tyler Cook. Andrew Ruggieri advances to third. There's now 1 away in the top of the 8th.
Smart play by Cook, seeing Monk very late to take that jump, and opportunistic there. They get the first caught stealing of the game.
Infield in for the Cropdusters. Fastball low, count 1-1 to Grace. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Has made contact all 3 times, just has not found a hole. 1-1 nearly hits him in the head. Ducks out of the way. 2-1 count. Russell from the windup. Slider called, strike. Nice pitch from Matt Russell. It's 3-1. Goes back to the slider, misses. Ryan Grace is aboard. Matt Russell has failed to retire a batter on his own volition so far this inning.
I'm interested in that 0-0 pitch. On the pitch that he was caught stealing of, that fastball low and away, and Russell just not his day. 6 free passes in an inning and a third, and the only out this inning has been on the caught stealing. So and that's going to do it for him, and not, of course, the day he was hoping for, especially after the immense success he had in his last outing.
Matt Russell's night ends. Looks like Lucas Garton. No, it is not. We'll get you who it is shortly.
I believe that's going to be Zachary Harris, who made his debut against the Gaithersburg Giants, and the man who's coming from Messiah, who pitched deep into the postseason. They made the D3 World Series, and he had 2 amazing innings. He faced, I believe, 6 batters in that inning, but in the third inning, it just kind of fell apart. It was some weak contact, some not, great fielding, but it all kind of fell apart. But still, I was super impressed with what I saw from him, and his stats at Messiah kind of speak for themselves. The amount of innings he pitched, and especially in the playoffs, he had a couple 7 innings outings. So deep into the playoffs, he was relied on for a team that made a run at the College World Series.
Quick turnaround just a few days after that Giants performance. And just a few days after, college baseball for him ended. He's back on the bump here. His team is down 4, and he's inheriting a situation that's far from ideal. Runners on the corners, just one out.
This is the Temple University Fox School of Business.
You hinted at it, Ben. That first outing that came against the Giants, you pitched 3 innings, struck out 2, just allowed 1 run.
Zachary Harris.
Got the
No decision. Yeah, in
No
that
decision.
one, it was you know, that was a game of new starts. It was Zach Sabo also pitched in that game, and he pitched the final 3 innings. He was lights out. And you know, I talked to him. You know, if you guys were listening during the Bethesda Big Train game, a lot of confidence, you know, for him in himself. So someone who I said, you know, I asked him, did you seeing the team hit for you, and you know, put up those runs, does it make you feel like, okay, you know, this is a lineup where you can, you know, it feels good that you have some comfort. And he said, you know, I feel confident no matter what. So he definitely he did not feel any need to dignify that line of reasoning, which is, you know, good for him. He trusts his stuff.
a little bit of a Mamba mentality.
Yeah,
some might
sure.
say. To make it worse for Harris, he's got to face the top of the order for the Grays. It'll start with Noel Rivera. He stands in. Set the scene for you. Cropdusters trail by 4. It's the top of the 8th. They've only retired 1. DC has runners on the corners. Top of the order standing in for the Grays. First pitch, fastball, swing and a miss.
And Rivera's gonna call time. You saw his bottom hand fell off the bat there. It certainly needed some you know, bat grip or some pine tar or something.
In the meantime, Tyler Cook will wipe off some sweat. Both men head back to home plate. 0-1 count. Rivera 1 for 3 tonight with a single. Walked in the 7th inning. Came in to score to extend DC's lead rather to 6-2. Heater misses high and away. Count a ball and a strike.
Paris is a guy that can induce ground balls. Infield playing for double play.
Heater finds the zone. Outer part of the plate. Noel Rivera is going to have to battle. He's down 1-2. Pickoff attempt of first. Grace back safely. It's Ruggieri on third, who pinch ran for Aiden Ellis. Only out was a throw down to second that caught Dixon Monk. 1-2 pitch misses away, off speed. Harris leaves it hanging. It's 2-2.
But you know, that's the difference between what we saw with Russell and with that pitch right there from Harris. When he missed, he went too far, missed with a slider low and away, which is fine to a righty. You'd rather miss there than, of course, inside, and that's, you know, you aim for the outside corner, and if you miss too far, so be it.
2-2 popped up, foul territory on the run. Stalker runs out of room. Ricochets off the fence. Rivera lives to see another, still 2-2. Harris nods, comes set. Broken bat. Hawkins takes it himself. Throw to first. Not in time. Cropdusters arguing for interference as Grace slid right into Hawkins' knees. Run comes in to score. It's now 7-2. Almost seemed like Zakai Hawkins had the flip there. Instead takes it himself. Noah Rivera beats out the throw as a result. Grays have a 2-swing lead.
I think Hawkins has to get some more acting skills there. Sometimes, let out a little shriek or, jump in the air or something. Often that's all it takes for the umpires to make the call. And the next pitch, Harris, well done to get out of the inning. But, yeah, just another run comes to the plate, and that's a good example. It's tough to chip away because other teams got the ability to do so as well. As, good pitching there, the inside pitch, just easy pop-up foul in territory for Stalker at first. But, yeah, it's just when you're only chipping away at it, it's difficult for a team to come back. Maybe that was Mark Quarry claiming the bat was already broken and he just went all the way, but he seemed to kind of Bo Jackson it, breaking it across his knee. I don't know if it was out of frustration or, like I said, if the pitch inside enough got a little, chipped the bat enough that it was already, gone.
Quarry has no need to be upset. He was 2 for 3, now 2 for 4. Has reached base safely 3 times. Breaks the bat. We obviously don't know if it was already broken, but just finishing the job at the very least. It's 3-4-5 due up for the Cropdusters. Burgeon still on the bump.
And Harris did his job. I mean, came in with first and third, gave up a softly hit ground ball. Maybe if it was a little bit harder hit, the double play would have been turned, and then induced a soft pop up out. So did everything he could have done, and as well as has the guy who's leading off for the Cropdusters and Zakai Hawkins. I mean, yeah, he's on an absolute heater. Got on base already 3 times with 3 knocks.
Best chance for the Cropdusters. They now trail by 5.
Yeah, and you go back to the Big Train game. Hawkins in that game, a single in the first, hit by pitch, and then 3 walks to his final 3 at bats. So he's got on base his last 8 times.
All right, fans, it's rally time. Now batting for your Cropdusters, the shortstop, number 23, from the University of Utah, Zakai Hawkins.
Zakai Hawkins stands in 3 for 3, a chance to go for 4 for 4.
And again, leading off, as he's got on base in 3 separate occasions when 2 separate occasions he's having to lead off, but unfortunately he hasn't really been helped out.
First pitch upstairs. Breaking ball misses the zone. Hawkins 1-0 count. Burgeon fires back with the slider, misses low. Hawkins staying patient as he normally does. It's a 2-0 count. Burgeon shakes, now nods. Off speed, called strike 1. Nothing but sliders to Zakai Hawkins.
And with Hawkins, he gets in good counts, but it's not by luck or random. He takes really tough pitches that are just a little bit out of the zone. Something that, some of his players might want to, follow suit in.
Heater, first one Hawkins sees is in the dirt.
And another excellent take, and what it allows is that he gets in better counts, and in those counts he's going to get pitches that have more plate, and that's when he decides to be aggressive. So he's got a really good approach. Obviously, it helps that he's feeling good at the plate right now, but you got to like what you're seeing about everything in his hitting game right now.
3-1 Hawkins chops it left side. Count full. New catcher for Alex Burgeon. It's Isaac Covey, freshman from Nichols State. He's now calling the signs as opposed to Aiden Ellis. 3-2 pitch to Hawkins to lead off the bottom of the 8th. Swing and a miss. Breaking ball in on the hands. Hawkins can't lay Woods a ball. And he's retired for the first time tonight. Cropdusters have gone down 8 times on strikes tonight. Jimmy Kirk is 0 for 2. Has faced Burgeon once before, flew out in the infield to Noel Rivera at shortstop. 1-0 count. Burgeon pounding the off speed so far. Goes back to it, called strike. Looping curveball. Right down the middle. Kirk takes.
Yeah, one of those guys that has both the speedy off speed, well, just, more the conventional speed, and then that really slow ball. It's a tough 2-pitch mix.
1-1 in the dirt. Kirk takes. Off speed really clicking for Burgeon so far in the 8th.
Yeah, that it has been. He goes to it on 3-2 to strike out Hawkins, and now against another tough hitter in Kirk, he's relying on it, despite going to the fastball in the 1-1.
2-1 count. Outside. Kirk check swing, held back.
I mean, that pitch was probably 4 feet outside, and even Kirk thought about it and started to go. But, yeah, if that pitch was anywhere closer, Kirk's probably going to swing on it.
Another breaking ball. That one in the zone. Kirk frozen in his cleats. Count 3-2. Burgeon shakes off. Last time he did that, he went to the breaking ball. Goes back to it. Kirk skies it. Just in the outfield grass. It's going to be Kikuchi who takes it. There's 1 down. Or 2 down, rather.
Yeah, just an excellent pitch on 3-2. In the zone. Got, Kirk. There's a good shot. He was looking for it and still just lunging at it as it has so much movement. Just a little bit more than you'd expect. And that little bit extra is just what can make the difference.
Burgeon showing a lot of faith in that breaking ball. He now faces Tyler Cook. Line drive up the middle. It's going to fall. Base hit. Tyler Cook has his 2nd knock of the season. It comes with 2 outs in the 8th inning, and it brings up Will Henson.
From VCU, Will Henson.
Henson 0 for 2 tonight.
We talked about Henson leading the team, in walks with 9. He's also, like many of these guys, he's not shied away from the hit by pitch. That's his 4th hit by pitch of the year. That also is tied for the team lead with Carter Ritchie. And again, I think we go to that veteran thing a lot, but him and Ritchie, they just, you see a lot of young guys, bowing out when there's a curveball or even a fastball. They stay in there. They kind of do what you're supposed to do. You tighten up, you turn your back, and you take the free bag.
Henson has a 1-1 count. Took the first pitch low, swung through the fastball. Jaden Knight waits in the on-deck circle. Burgeon from the stretch. Kicks, delivers, fastball, called strike 2, right at the knees.
Really nice pitch.
Henson down, a ball and 2 strikes. One and 2. Outside. 88 on that heater from Burgeon. Fastest we've seen this inning. Topped out at 89 in the 6th. Cook barely standing off the first base bag.
He hasn't gone to the off speed for 3 straight pitches. Threw it there, but he missed it.
Henson has a full count, 3-2. Cook will go on the pitch. Burgeon comes set. Deals outside. Cook to second, Henson to first. Jaden Knight comes to the plate. 2 on, 2 outs. Cropdusters trailing by 5.
University of Notre Dame, Jaden Knight.
Knight was able to get the clutch hit. His last at bat, driving in a run. Still, though, of course, that out at third stopped it, but another situation where a hit is crucial here.
First pitch tonight called strike. 0-1. Goes back to the breaking ball.
Weirdly enough, it seems as if that breaking ball, which was the bread and butter, he's kind of lost it. These last couple batters, starting it in the box, ending it way away from it.
Swing and a miss on that heater, popped out of the glove of Akovi. Count 1-2. Knight has to battle. Had an RBI single his last time up.
What it has done is forced the fastball to be thrown more, and that pitch has looked very solid as well.
1-2. Knight skies it. Foul territory. Aokovi on the run, makes the play, and the inning is over. Cropdusters come up empty-handed once more. We head to the ninth. Olney trails DC by 5. Dusters down to their final 3 outs.
In danger of, dropping to 2 games below 500 and getting another 3-game losing streak. Not where they want to be.
Cropdusters at risk of dropping 3 straight. DC can extend its longest winning streak of the season. The Grays, after finishing in last place just a year ago, sit at 7-5 on the year. Second in the South Division. Cropdusters sit at 3rd in the North, behind the Thunderbolts and Big Train. They're only ahead of the Giants, who are far and away the worst team in the league at 3-11.
Yeah,
Braves are creeping up on them though at 3-10.
Yeah, in that game, I really thought that was kind of going to lead to a change for the Cropdusters, in that you come back from 6-0, you come back from 8-2, just feels like such a momentum switch and a real chance for that lineup to prove we can come back, we can fight. But then in reality, maybe you can chalk it up a little bit more to just the struggles of the Giants than it. But I think it still does show the mental fortitude and the ability for this lineup to grind out at-bats and find a way to win, but it just unfortunately has not really carried over into these next 3 games.
Cropdusters cannot stay above 500 for too long, it seems.
That 5-run deficit is looking pretty large right now.
Olney has had a few late comebacks so far this season. Ethan Nagy. 1 for 2 tonight with a single and 2 walks. First time facing Harris. Fastball inside. Nagy bends backward to dodge it. 1-0. Called strike 1. Off-speed pitch coats the outer part of the plate.
I've liked what I've seen from Harris. He's got solid command of the fastball and the breaking ball.
1-1. Off-speed, Nagy line drive. Walter drifts, makes the play. Leadoff man retired to start the top of the 9th.
And a really nice pitch again. That breaking ball starting in the zone, ending still in the zone, but just the late break makes it tough to do anything with it.
19 from the University of Richmond, TJ Adonizio.
Pinch hitter for Andy Rivera.
Yeah, we saw him start the last time these two teams faced each other, getting the day off. It was a couple of guys as well, which is not necessarily the best song. Suong, one of the most impressive hitters for, stats-wise, the best hitter, not playing today and yet still succeeding.
Adonizio stands in, batting .200 on the season. And he's quickly worked a 2-ball and no strike count. Seven base knocks rather, and 35 at bats for the lefty. No extra base hits so far this season. Swing and a miss. Out of part of the plate, Adonizio can't lay a bat to it. 2-1.
Nice location with a fastball on the opposite part of the plate, trying to keep it away from the lefty.
It's 2 balls and a strike. Slider in there, strike 2.
Very nice off-speed pitch, a lot of movement on it. And you see, that's just great pitching. You're behind the count 2-0, you deliver a fastball dotted on the outside part of the plate, then you come in, freeze the hitter with a in-breaking slider.
2-2. Swing and a miss. Adonizio down on strikes. It's his 10th strikeout of the season. For Harris, it's his first of the night.
Batting number 33 from Alabama State, Rocco Gilbert.
So really clearing the bench in this ninth inning, giving guys at bats.
Another pinch hitter standing in. It's Rocco Gilbert.
And he's had some success.
Swing and a miss. First pitch off speed. He's through it. Batting .333 on the year. Only taken 12 at bats. Luke Couchy's night is done. He doesn't get the final send-off after a fantastic evening. 2 extra base hits, 4 RBIs, went 2 for 3.
It really has been. It was his game. He's been the focal point for the offense all day.
That one nearly hits him. Gilbert ducks, 2 balls and a strike. An entertaining pitch as the fastball hung right towards the head of Rocco Gilbert.
Yeah, he's been on the bench for 8+ innings, and then next thing you know, you get a high fastball that almost gets you in the head. That's a tough thing to just come into the game and get yourself faced with.
2-1. Gilbert, weak ground ball. In comes Henson. Throw on the run in time. And the side is retired. Cropdusters. A final chance. Down 5 in the bottom of the 9th.
Hey fans, final
That's
chance.
coming up.
Would like to thank again the Girls on the Run, who be the sponsor of
An impressive home debut for Harris. Faced 5 batters, retired all of them, but still would need something special to get a victory as well.
Alex Burgeon will trot back out. He's pitched 3 innings, allowed 1 run. This will be his 4th. Joey Chitlow will take over for Luke Couchy at second base. Adonizio will take over for Rivera in right. It's 7, 8, 9 due up for the Cropdusters. Stalker, Santiago Cruz, and Scott. Stalker had a double against Burgeon in the bottom of the 7th.
Good. It was a good swing by Stalker. He just jumped on the first pitch he saw and drilled it to right field. You know, 5 runs certainly is a lot, but got to take it at bat by at bat.
First pitch to Stalker. Outside he takes 1-0. Hard line drive out to right. Right there is Adenizio. There's one away.
I mean, that's just unfortunate. It's happened to Stalker a couple times this year where he's hit a ball really well and just has not been able to do anything with it. I mean, he gets a fastball low and away and drills it. Just it's a good hack. It's all you could hope for. Just not going Stalker's way that at bat.
Santiago Cruz 0 for 3 tonight. First pitch swing and a miss. Burgeon untouchable in the final 3 innings.
Yeah, 3 innings gets himself the save to get those three innings of work. So, he's certainly got that on his mind.
Trying to fill up the stat sheet. He's already done plenty tonight. Kept this Cropdusters offense at bay. He's got Santiago Cruz down 0-2. Burgeon completely commanding the zone. Pauses briefly. Now begins his motion. 0-2 pitch. Off speed in the dirt. Santiago Cruz takes. It's 1-2.
I believe he threw a changeup there. Not a pitch we've seen a lot of, but maybe in a situation where he can try things out, trying to get used to that changeup.
A ball and 2 strikes. Fouled off right side, out of play. Santiago Cruz battling. Still 1-2. Off speed nearly hits Santiago Cruz in the back.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, but Burgeon, just completely he has lost the off-speed pitch. It was, his absolute bread and butter for the first, 7 batters he's faced, but just since then, it's total. The control of it is lost on him.
2-2. Santiago Cruz up the middle, nearly stopped by Chitla. Bounces away from him. Santiago Cruz an infield single. Rally has to start somewhere for Olney. Brian Scott trying to keep it going. First pitch to Scott in there, strike 1. Oh and 1. Santiago Cruz at first. Burgeon kicks, delivers. Upstairs heater misses. Scott takes. Count even, a ball and a strike.
And, barring a double play here, I think Cade Walter will be looking forward to having another at-bat. Has not been his day so far. 0 for 3 of the walk.
1-1 pitch, skied, out of play. It's 1-2. Santiago Cruz on first. Fastball away. Count level, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Top of the order, due up for the Cropdusters. Cade Walter in the on-deck circle. Scott 1 for 3 tonight with a double that came in the 5th. Santiago Cruz runs. Throw down into the outfield. Santiago Cruz will hold there as Quarry was on the way in on the Iokovi throw.
Great jump, as we've seen from a couple of guys. As, you know, again, though, leaving a little early, not necessarily sure if, you know, getting an extra good jump so you can steal a base when you're down by 5 is worth it.
3-2, Scott fouled back. Stays alive.
And this has been a nice at-bat by Scott, you know, taking advantage of each at-bat he has. 9th inning, every at-bat is, you know, just worth a little bit more stress on the pitcher. Base runners start to happen, and it gets a little bit worrisome.
3-2, Scott, line drive, out of play. He's not making it easy on Virgin. They dueled once tonight. It came in the 7th. Scott grounded it right back to him. Three-two pitch. Chopper, Chitla coming in. Throw in time. 2 gone. Cropdusters down to their final out.
Batting the right fielder, number 6 from Jacksonville University, Cade Walter.
Cade Walter. 0 for 3 tonight. First pitch fouled back, out of play. Oh, 1 count. Santiago Cruz on third. Cropdusters trail by 5. Heater misses low. It's 1-1.
Walter has not really seen the fastball very well today.
Swing and a miss.
Good changeup.
One and 2 to Walter. Dusters down to their final strike. Virgin set. Kicks. Deals. Inside. Santiago Cruz will come in to score. Make it 7-3. Nobody on now.
Santiago Cruz padding the stats, getting the stolen base in the run. No shame in it.
Two and 2. Swing and a miss. Ball game over. Cade Walter down on strikes. The Grays have won 3 straight. The Cropdusters have dropped 3 in a row. DC walks away from First Responders Field with its 2nd win of the season in 2 trips. This one, a lot less drama. A 7-3 throttling, in all reality, Ben, of the Cropdusters. Olney never really had a chance. DC hot, Cropdusters cold. Olney has been outscored 29-9 in its last 3. Seems like nothing's going right for the Cropdusters right now, Ben.
Yeah, you know, obviously, first thing is that they got off to a rough start pitching-wise, but and that affects how the Cropdusters play. But right now, it really feels like unless the pitching is perfect, which can allow for the Cropdusters to try to be aggressive and try to play for the 1-run game and you know, try to sneak across a run or 2, it's really hard for them to win a game. And, you know, it's just, it hasn't been that consistent power blasts. It's often been, you know, just just, trying to fight their way to get a couple runs, which puts a lot of pressure on the pitchers, and also just, not pressure or not, it just makes it that you give up a couple runs and it's tough for them to come back into a game.
The Cropdusters really struggling against teams that are above 500. Just one win against the squad that now has a record over 500, that being the Big Train. It was the second game of the season, a 10-4 victory for Olney. DC now 7-6. Cropdusters now 7-9. They're back tomorrow against a really elite squad in the Silver Spring Tacoma Thunderbolts. It's going to be up to the hitting tomorrow to keep up because that offense for the Thunderbolts is extremely explosive.
That it is. And regardless, whatever happens to the pitching staff, you're going to need hitting. It's simple as that. And, Hawkins had some great at-bats today. Wouldn't be shocked if we see him in the lineup just because he can play multiple positions. But going to need some more sparks. Simple as that.
Cropdusters dropped their third straight, a 7-3 loss to the DC Grays. For Ben Gurwitch, I'm Nick King. We'll see you tomorrow. Cropdusters take on the Thunderbolts at 5:30? 6:30? 5:30. There we go. A little bit of a confusion with the schedule. At 5:30, we'll see you there.